Hello. What is going on? Hi, everyone. Welcome back. All right, you get a bonus day. Y'all get a bonus day of TikTok talks. Okay, we only do TikTok talks on Tuesday, but y'all got so wrapped up in the saga of Risa Tisa yesterday, and you guys asked to finish it. Hopefully, we'll finish it today. There's no promises, honestly. There's no promises. And if we don't finish it today, honestly, are you guys gonna want like a third day of TikTok talks? Like this saga, this 50-part saga got me so invested that I can't believe I'm watching it twice. It is a 50-part series, like over 7 total hours, but we're watching it in like, over 1.5 speed. So we're getting to Risa Tisa. Dude, this story, this experience that this woman went through, I can't believe it. A lot of people are invested in this woman's life right now, and it's crazy. Uh, it's insane how many people, she invited into her. I honestly don't think that she expected it to go as super viral as it did. I really don't think that she expected it to go incredibly viral and really, 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 like, people were just getting incredibly invested in her story, and while at the same time sharing their own experiences as well. But yeah, what she went through in her little like 50-part saga, her wedding and her marriage, and what the man legion put her through, is it's quite interesting. It is quite the drama filled experience that she lived, huh? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I need to I went and grabbed some lotion. I need it for my hands. Oh my gosh. For whatever reason, the weather is just it's been really weird. So like my allergies have just been all over the place, and my skin has been dry as heck. Been dry as heck. Um Also, I might start year 4 of Harry Potter Lego tonight. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how I feel. We'll see how I feel. TikTok talks. I'm here for the hopeful chance to see the chair again. Ooh, I don't know. You might not. We don't know. We don't know how this is gonna go. We don't know how it's gonna go. All right. Many articles have been written about Risa Teese's experience. Why do you guys think that people got so wrapped up in her story, right? Is it because it's just so unbelievable? Because, like, you guys in the chat, right? I feel like that's why people got so wrapped up in her story, was because, like, it's just so unbelievable. You've got this psycho talking on the phone to nobody in the presence of 2 people, like, while they were married, every morning is talking on the phone to nobody for like half an hour, right? Um, and she just didn't notice. Like, there was nothing. She just ignored. She thought it was fine. She thought he had family. There were like family members that he made up. Oh man, it gets even worse. It gets even worse, like towards the end of it. But why do you think? Why do you think so? And it's not just women. It's not just women who got like invested in this story either. Like a lot of men got invested in the story, which is I feel like this type of thing that she went through, like whether you be a man or a woman, like it's a universal kind of thing uh that could happen to someone, honestly. Like a train wreck and you couldn't look away. That's yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. It's like a train wreck. You just can't look away. It's true. And I think that like her, oh man, you kind of feel for her towards the end of it, because I think like when you get to parts, I don't know, like 40 or something, like the 40 I think like in part 40, I don't remember, but she she goes on to say, like, having to relive it, to retell this story, it was taking a toll on her, and she had to like stop for a couple of days. Woo! She had to stop for a couple of days, but man, I just don't understand. I don't understand how someone could get like so invested. But you know what? I think it's also in the way that she's retelling the story. She's a good storyteller, in the way that she's like so detailed in every little thing that's happening to her. She's going in chronological order of events that occurred in her life, and then like when she starts like realizing what's going on and she starts like recalling, going back to things that he said and things that like weren't true and things that just like holy, the realization towards the end of this like 50-part saga for her. I think also that has to do with it because like if I'm just like listening to someone tell a story and they're not a good storyteller, you don't get as invested. So I feel like it's the way that she is telling this story, right? Because I listen. I listen to a lot of true crime on the internet, and there's just some people who can like tell a story. They're just telling the story, right? You have like I feel like you get there's a really big true crime YouTuber named Bailey Sarian, right? She does her makeup while she's telling the story. And it's like she's telling the story to like her friend. She kind of talks to you like she's talking to a friend where it's not as detailed, but it's kind of like, whoa. She has those moments of like, whoa, I can't believe that. And she'll like laugh at certain things, right? It's like she's telling the story to her friend. But you don't get super invested. It's kind of like, yeah, it's you have it in the background. Whereas there's another one that I listen to, Stephanie Harlow. She gets so incredibly detailed with her stories where it's like she's teaching you a history lesson and they're like multi-part multi-part videos where it's like hours long. I mean, you can watch she'll do like a four-part 5-hour series, right? And you're listening to her tell the story and it's like you're listening to someone teach you something, right? Whereas there's Stephanie Sue, I think that's her name. Stephanie Sue, the way she tells a story, I can't stop listening to it because she's telling the story like it's happening to her, right? That's how she's telling the story, like it's happening to her. And it's so crazy how she tells the story and you get really, really invested in the way she's telling the story. That's how this woman is telling the story. Like, she's telling it like I mean, she actually lived it, so her ability to recall is incredible. So I think that, like, it's just the way she tells this story. Like, there's different types of storytellers. You just get invested for different reasons, and the way she's telling I feel like, I don't know, like, maybe, like, someone put out, like, a two-part series of something that happened to them, and the way that they're telling the story, you don't really get invested. It's just like, "Oh, man, that happened to you, that sucks." But it's the way that she's telling the story that you can't stop listening to it, okay? And also the things that she lived and went through, you're like, "Holy crap! I can't believe this happened to you." All right, we're gonna keep going, okay? We're on part, what, 22? Let me share my screen. Let me share it. All right. Let me share it. But actually, hold on. Before I share it, let's say hi. Hello, everybody. What's up, A Glean? Man, Steph has me invested. I think the story is made up, though. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is so crazy you think it has to be made up, but it's actually not because there's been like news people like investigating the story. It's true. What's up, Retro Collective? And Sparian is here. Hi, Sparian. Real Steven. What's up, Bradley Scott? Crash Mondo. Sorry. Jonathan Chessa. Okay, what's going on? I can't wait to see how this ends. Woo. I don't know if we're gonna get to how it ends today. I'm kind of on a time crunch today, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to get to the very end, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Lewis is here. What's up, Lewis? Edgar, Tara, Anna. Hello. Oh my gosh. Philip. Hi, Philip. Real Steven is here. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, Dreaming Tabitha. Hello. I have no clue what happened, but I'm here for it. Hi, Tabitha. I need to text you later, girl. Every aspect of the story is something predominantly women get invested in, like true crime rabbit hole stories that can get addictive. I think that's what this is. This is a rabbit hole story. It's like, how deep does the rabbit hole go? Right? I think that's exactly why like we got invested in it, right? Because it's just a rabbit hole story. Like, how deep does the rabbit hole go? How deep is the lie? And you just want to know, honestly, like you want to know. Rocky the Black Dragon. Hello. Hi. Daniel Cantu. What's going on? All right. Let's finish it up. We got to finish it. We're going to get into it, okay? Who the fuck did I marry? Risa Tisa. We're on part 22, I hope. I think. I don't know. Oh, come on. Hold on. Let me refresh.
He ain't your boyfriend. Y'all can't just break up. That's the hard part about marriage. Is like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could.
Okay, so this is where we left off, right? This is where we left off. She's getting lectured, and she's like, hey, marriage is hard. You got to stick with it, all right? This is where we left off.
Leave him, but at the same time, you married him. So, honey, you're going to have to go back home. And y'all are going to have to figure this out. She was like, I can't give you advice on what you should do. I'm sorry that this happened, but you married him. So even though it was just one drive, I went back home. And that's when the discussion was, we need to do marriage counseling. 3, who the fuck did I marry? So we agreed to do marriage counseling. I had found a pastor and his wife who agreed to do our counseling, basically. Our counseling.
Hold on. Oh my God. I completely forgot. About that. I wanted to really quickly before we continue on with recent news story. This shit had me rolling. Okay, this is technically a TikTok talk, right? So let me find it. This shit. Oh my fucking God! I have to find it. This fucking shit. This shit had me dying This had me dying yesterday. Okay. This had me dying yesterday. If you guys don't know, dude. Wait, hold on, wait. Hold on. There's a Willy Wonka experience. Here it is. There's a Willy Wonka experience, right? It was an immersive experience in Glasgow. And they called the police. Okay. They called the police. You had to pay $45 for it. When children were left tears upon seeing the quality of the warehouse event. This was their ad, all right? They promoted it with AI. Okay? Honestly, like if you're promoting something with AI, I'm a little bit wary, all right? Like this isn't what it looks like. This is this is concept art. I want to see what the real thing looks like, okay? I don't want to see the concept art. What does it look like? I want to know. Well, like the reality was so bad. I was dying. I was dying when I saw these. I'm still laughing at it. Like I'm still laughing at it today. This morning, I'm still laughing at it. Hold on. Let me. Let me. I have to do this. Hold on. Wait. Oh my gosh, bro. Imagine having the police called on you because you threw a party that was terrible. Dude, where are the photos? These photos. Hold on, wait, let me. Oh my God. Morning brew. We gotta go. Look, $40 ticket entry. AI images advertise the event, and the venue was an empty warehouse. The staff were given scripts the night before. These photos are almost too good to be true. Dude, they really thought that they did something with. They were like, "Oh, this looks good." This looks so good. This is perfect. Willy Wonka, rainbows. Yes, let's go. Look at they hung this up and they hung this up. They hung this up. They took a step back and they were like, Willy Wonka. We did him proud. We did him proud. All right. They hung that tapestry and they were like, done. Finished. This is perfect. They didn't even do anything to the floors. The floors were concrete. Look at this. Oh my God, they're like one chocolate bar is all we need. Let's get these tapestries and just spray paint them. Spray paint. They're living the spray paint. Look, we got a red, orange one. We got a purple one on this side. This all we need is the little grass. Okay, all right. We just need the little grass thing. This is the the warehouse walls. They have one chocolate bar, little candy canes. All right. Where's the meth lab worker? Where's she at? Oh my God. Look, this this was at the event. This was at the bouncy house. They had a bouncy castle. All right. They had a bouncy castle. Where's the meth worker? Oh my God. They really thought they did something, huh? Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh, there she is. I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, oh no. I'm like, oh no, please tell me this picture is not real. This bitch, she looked like she's in a meth lab. I was like, this is like Breaking Wonka. Okay, this is not Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is Breaking Wonka. What is she even making? They were like, oh, this is good. This is good. The Oompa Loompas are like behind the scenes. They're not even like, I'm sorry, but this was fucking terrible. But I couldn't stop laughing. And then this morning, hold on, where's they threw a party so bad. They got the cops called on them and they had to issue an apology. So the creator of Willy Wonka experience, look at dude. I can just imagine her talking like, "Come through. Come come look." I don't even think look at this. It's given given off these bro. There weren't even one. I saw a photo where there's actually 2. There were 2 of these workers. What is this? That did not happen. That did not happen. That is not there. Was that there? Oh my gosh. That is a Dementor. All right? That is a follower of Lord Voldemort right there. What are they doing? When is that in Wonka? When is that in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? All right? That is a follower of Lord Voldemort. All right? Dude. Look at their hair underneath it too. Oh my god. That guy, that guy vacations at Lucius Malfoy's house. I'm just saying. Like, seriously, what is this? Did they go to they're like, what else? What do you have lying around your house? Oh, I've got like this old Death Eater costume. Perfect. Perfect. That is perfect for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's a Death Eater right now. Okay. He lifts up his cloak and he like just fucking puts a wand. All he's missing is a wand, right? Oh my gosh. That's great. That was not there. That has to be there. That has to be there because they included it in the photos. Anyways, they got the cops called on them because they threw a terrible party, and then they had to issue an apologies. I'm really shocked that the event had fallen short of expectations of people on paper. My vision of the artistic rendition of a well-known book didn't come to fruition. For that, I'm absolutely, truly, and utterly sorry. It didn't come to fruition, my dude. Oh my god. Look at Overland! Trampoline World, Bucksville, USA. Oh my god. I think someone did the Krabby Land. They put the Krabby Land from SpongeBob. Oh my god. Someone compared it to Krabby Land. That's so funny. But seriously, what is he talking about with this? My vision of the artistic rendition. Like they promoted it with AI. They're like, "We did it. Look, this is totally the AI image that we presented." Oh my gosh. Anyways, yeah, I was laughing about that. Like I could not stop laughing last night, this morning. Yes, all day yesterday. Like I just could not stop laughing. I could not. Every time I would look at the picture of every time I would look at the picture of the fucking, Breaking Wonka Oompa Loompa, I could not stop laughing. Alright, let's continue on with I always wanna say Risa Tisa's story. Alright.
It was going to be on Zoom, and it was going to be every other week, every other Tuesday. Initially, Legion was participating in it. his body language seemed to be that he was open and receptive to the marriage counseling. Now, the pastor and his wife were deeply concerned at the fact that we had only been married 3 months and we were already dealing with some form of infidelity. We were in marriage counseling. And as the pastor would put it, there seems to not be any sort of intimacy. They were concerned, rightfully so. I think any person would be if they knew what was going on within those 3 months. So the pastor and his wife, it is fair to note, we started counseling with them in the spring. We continued counseling with them up until a week before I found out what I found out, and he got kicked out. So one of the first things that the pastor kind of talked to us about was, what was the deal with the Facebook Messenger stuff? And Legion was like, it was stupid. I shouldn't have done it. It really was just attention. And I got carried away. He felt like he kept saying, I'm not going to keep apologizing. I'm not going to keep getting persecuted. After I told you, I'm sorry. I told you I wouldn't do it again. And I want us to move forward. You're either going to forgive me or you're not.
Ew, I don't like that. The demand, the audacity that he has to like demand that she get over it. That, like, come on. Seriously? Like, I already did it. I already said I'm sorry. Get over it. You're either gonna move on or not. Like, come on. Like But I'm keeping in the back of my mind this man has mental disorder. Okay. I am keeping that in the back of my mind. I'm not saying it's okay, but I am keeping that in the back of my mind.
Pastor and his wife were like, wow, the audacity is real on this one. So needless to say, we started moving slowly forward. It was always in the back of my mind, just like it was in the back of my mind with that black Dodge Charger. It was one of those things where, okay, I see how you kind of are moving and operating. He came to me a few days after we started our first counseling session, and he was like, we should get a joint bank account. What he wanted to do was to each one of us have our own account and to get a joint account for our money to go in there for joint expenses. Now, up until this point, he had been paying the rent, the utilities, and I really was just paying for my stuff. So now he's suggesting, look, we're married now. Let's go ahead and get a joint account.
Ooh, I would be so wary of that. Honestly, like my mom always taught me, like, yeah, when you're married, you have your joint bank account, but you also need to keep your own money. You should also always have your own money, just in case, like keep some mad money aside, put some money aside. You have your joint bank account, and those are for bills and everything that you have as a couple, right? But like also have your own money. Like never put all your money into one basket.
I wasn't necessarily against it because I knew that I would still have my own account. I would still have my own savings. So what I countered with was, okay, let's take a look and see what we're working with. Show me your checking. Let's look at each other's accounts. Look at what we have currently. He was cool with that. So he shows me his checking account. His checking account available balance was just over $9,600.
That was a lie. His checking account. He is showing her stuff into his checking account, right? That was a lie.
Mine was just over $1,500. So there was a huge disparity in the amounts. And so he logged in on the phone and turned it towards me, and I could see available checking, available balance, just over $9,600.
Lie.
I logged into my savings. I showed him how much I had in savings. He picked up his phone, logged into his Chase savings, turned the phone towards me. In the Chase savings, it was roughly about $15,000.
That was a lie. That was a lie. I honestly, like, looking back on it, I'm sure that she's kicking herself in the butt and not like taking his phone to actually seeing if what he's showing her is real. But man, oof.
But I also knew that he told me he had a U.S. bank savings and he had an offshore savings.
He doesn't have either of those savings.
So at this point in time, I asked him, show me the U.S. bank savings, show me the other two accounts. He would not do it.
He won't do it because it's not real. It doesn't exist. So he refuses to do it.
This became a huge bone of contention. He would not show me the two accounts that he claims has the most money in there, the accounts that he claims has money for a house in there, because he still was mentioning, hey, we need to get on this house thing. We're going to move when the lease is up.
See, for me at least, I would be like, okay, you don't want to show me like those accounts. There's no trust there. Like, then I'm completely out of combining bank accounts. Like, everything should be just out there on the table, right? Then if you're not going to show it to me, I'm not going to combine bank accounts. Like that's it. That's it.
So I'm just adamant on, why don't you want to show me your savings account? You showed me the Chase one. Like, what is the big deal? And so he kept saying, he's like, there's a lot of money in there. And he was like, and my uncle always taught me, this is not the uncle that died, another uncle.
There's no uncle. Or is there an uncle? No, there's no uncle.
Always told me, just keep your money tight because women can be, I said, women, like, we're married. So go ahead and show it to me. He would not show it to me. So then we went back into marriage counseling, like the next session, and I bring it up. I said, he will not show me these two accounts that he claims has the money in there to buy a house. I told the pastor and his wife, I said, I saw the pre-approval letter, so I don't understand why he's not going to show me, to just put me at ease that he has the money in there. I had never questioned it before because, again, you tell me who in their right mind signs their name to a legally binding offer, an all cash offer on a house, and they just do it willy-nilly. I don't know anyone that does that. So
exactly. Like, but remember, we're not dealing with a sane person.
I actually never questioned what was in the savings because I clearly saw him sign his name to a $699,000 all cash offer on a house. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back to the parts in this playlist where I talk about what he did when we were looking for a house. So the pastor and his wife were like, Legion, that's not his name, y'all, that's a nickname. Legion, why would you not show your wife your savings account? Like, what's going on here? And so he made up some bullshit. And I remember the pastor's wife was like, something ain't right. And so at this point, Legion kind of shuts down. It's
interesting how, like, how many people around her have that feeling of like something's not right, you know, and how many people like had that feeling in their gut who kind of like told her that, you know, the pastor's wife. Then there was the her aunt, right? Her aunt, her the real estate agent. The real estate agent was like, oh, something's not right. Like, everybody had a feeling. And I'm sure she did too, right? She's mentioned before that, like, she's had those feelings, right? But she's ignoring them. Like, oh man, it's interesting how many people around her kept being like, something's just not, something doesn't smell right with this man.
like, look, y'all are not going to tell me when and where I open up my accounts to show anybody the money I earned. I earned that money. I earned that money by playing football, blood, sweat, and tears. He went to this whole Denzel Washington monologue about how he earned that money, and no one is going to come in and tell him that he needs to open up the account. So then he starts talking about the ex-wife and how she tried to get money from him in the divorce back when they were in California.
That was a lie. She didn't try to get money. They didn't live in California. All that he's complaining about with the football and the ex-wife playing football in California, living in California, married and divorced in California. Wife tried to take all his money. All that's just a lie.
So now the pastor and his wife, their red flags are just like, whoa. So much so that the pastor's wife said, and I will never forget this, she said, I don't think you all are going to make it to January. What she was talking about is, I don't think y'all are going to make it a year. And I really, truly was like, we're going to make it. Like, of course we're going to make it. And she was just like, I don't have a good feeling about it. And so Legion's all defensive. He at this point, he's folding his arms and because remember, we're on Zoom, he's folding his arms and he's just like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not going to get attacked because I'm not comfortable showing you the amount of money that I have. Money changes people. And I'm not comfortable. So he's playing that victim card. And so the pastor and his wife were like, you know, we're still going to help y'all as much as we can. But so he was like, I'm not comfortable. And basically the pastor and his wife were like, look, we'll help y'all as much as we can, but there's some deep issues here. And, you know, this is what they advised us. Had the two of you came to us for premarital counseling, we would have told you, do not get married. Y'all should not even be together. That is what the pastor and his wife told us in marriage counseling. Dang. If you two had come to us for premarital counseling, we would have told you, y'all should not even be together, let alone get married. But here we are. So we will help you guys as much as we can. But the pastor's wife was like, I don't have a good feeling that y'all are going to make it a year.
Wow.
Part 24, who the fuck did I marry? So remember, we're in April. We're now moving towards the end of April. And he still did not show me his savings account. Saw the checking, saw the Chase savings. So he decides that we should start looking for a house again because my lease was up in August. And I made it very clear that when the lease is up, I am moving. I wanted to move to Cobb County. So he was like, you know, we need to get the ball rolling. I didn't want any parts of it.
Good for you. Like, he won't show you his bank statements, nothing. Man, you know what I think? I think that he wanted to combine bank accounts because that man had no money. He's like running out of money, right? He's paying prostitutes for whatever. He's paying the prostitutes for prostitute-y things, right? And like he clearly, I mean, we've discussed this. We discussed this yesterday. He's lying about a lot of stuff. He is not vice president at the condiment company, you know.
Because my lease was up in August and I made it very clear that when the lease is up, I am moving. I wanted to move to Cobb County. So he was like, you know, we need to get the ball rolling.
I accidentally pressed the button. She didn't want no part of it. I accidentally pressed the button. Yeah. I actually don't remember. If they combine bank accounts, actually. I don't think they ever did. Excuse me. Sneezed.
I didn't want any parts of it. he found a realtor. This time it was a woman. It was a woman. And I believe her name was Amber. I think her name was Amber. So he found a realtor and kind of, he told her what the budget was. Amber started finding houses. So please understand, or you don't really have to understand, but I believed he was a sane, rational human being.
I know.
Sane enough that you would not sign an offer on a home if you didn't have the money. That's what I believed. So when we started working with Amber, I believe, showed us 3 or 4 houses. It was not nearly as many as the other realtors got. So one of the houses, absolutely loved. I love the house. I really wanted to put in an offer on that house, and I'm going to post it on the screen. The house, love that house. It was just absolutely beautiful. And once again, he wanted to put in an all cash offer on the house. But before,
he keeps putting all cash offers on these houses, right? Because he knows that's like his MO, right? He'll be like, all cash, but I'm not going to disclose anything. You either accept it or you don't. He knows that they're not going to accept it, so he keeps putting in all cash offers so they don't get the house. Like, it's just the thing. Like, I don't understand why she continues to be like, oh, okay, fine. She should just get the house, right? On her own, but no. He keeps like doing all cash, and they fall through, every single one of them.
He could put in he had told Amber, I want to put in an all cash offer. And what Amber, the woman, was smart enough to say is, okay, let's just go ahead and take it one step at a time. Let's go ahead and get your pre-approval stuff together. She said, I work with a great lender who, if you're not already pre-approved, he can get you pre-approved, no issues. And then if you want to do an all cash offer, then we'll go ahead and get the proof of funds together. So that way we can submit it all with your offer.
Smart lady.
Jesus.
Oh.
Y'all already know what happened, because you remember what happened on the last house with Scott. Basically, Legion was like, well, I can get you whatever you need. That's fine. But I really don't want to submit proof of funds unless they accept the offer. Amber, and I don't know where she is. I don't even know if she'll ever see this video. Anyway, let me keep going and I'll explain why that woman has a special place in my heart. So Amber was like, I totally understand. But this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to need that paperwork. Okay. And we'll submit it with your offer. She just simply was like, yeah, this is how we're going to do it. And so he did not submit the paperwork when she had asked him to. And I remember I was driving to work and I stopped at the Quick Trip on Upper Riverdale Road in Riverdale, Georgia. And Amber had called me. It was in the morning. She had called me. And I believe with all my heart that Amber knew something was up, but she also knew I did not know what was up. So she called me and she was like, I just don't understand. Like, if he has the paperwork, like, you can submit the paperwork. But the issue was the Chase paperwork that I had was from a year prior. So my understanding was that it pretty much was no good at this point. So she said, all he has to do is just email it to me or take a picture of it. She's like, I just need to know that he's able to back up his offer. And I said, I totally get it. And she was explaining some stuff.
It's like so simple. If you have the paperwork, if you have proof of funds, like, it's not a hard thing to do, right? I mean, I've bought 2 houses. It's simple. Like, they require the paperwork. You follow the step. There is protocol. There's paperwork that you have to do when you buy a house, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard. And that's what Amber is like talking to her. She's so confused. She's like, it's so you can just email it to me. I'm not going to take it. This is my job. This is what I do. Why does he not trust, that, like, this is just the protocol. This is the steps that you need to follow. And so, like, I would honestly get like a little like, why is he being so sketchy? Why is he being so sketchy? I like that, again, another person in her life that's kind of looking at it and, like, seeing like the little red flags and, like, what's going on? They're a little suspicious of this Legion person.
To me, she was like, he needs to do X, Y, and Z. And so I said to her, I remember I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, I'm going to get down to the bottom of it, but I don't know what's going on. And so let's put a pause on this whole thing. Let's put a pause on looking at houses. Let's put a pause on getting his pre-approval letter, because I'm not sure what's going on. And she got quiet and she said, okay. I said, and I know this sounds weird. And she said, no. She said, that is actually very smart. She said, do your research. And if I can be of assistance, call me. She said, whether you buy a house with him or you buy a house on your own, I will be more than happy to represent you. I don't know where Amber is today, but that one sentence, I felt like just woman to woman, she was basically telling me, Something.
Something's not right. Do your research, girl. You need to dig. You need to dig into this man's history, because this man had hit her like wrapped around his finger to the point where she did not do a lot of research on this guy. She didn't get a lot of information from this guy before they got married. You know, like their relationship went so fast. So fast. So, yeah. Ooh.
Right. Baby, something ain't right. And now you need to open your eyes. I'll be more than happy to work with you. If y'all get your shit together, I'll work with both of you. But whether you buy a house or not, do your research and then let me know what I can do. That was our conversation at the quick trip on Upper Riverdale Road. So I got off the phone. That was the last time that we worked with any sort of realtor. That was the last time that we looked at any sort of house. And I don't remember exactly what happened after that meeting that day. I do know that when I went home, I simply told him, I don't want to look at a house right now. I said, I think it's okay if we rent. We'll just find a house in Cobb County and just rent for a year. And let's build, save some more money. Let's not worry about buying a house right now. And basically what I was trying to do was save face, because that was the first time with Amber that I actually was embarrassed at the fact that he and I, because I felt like I was complicit in the fact that I'm going to look at houses with him. I felt like we are wasting these people's time. I did not mean to waste your time. I clearly see my time as being wasted, but that doesn't mean I need to waste your time. And I felt embarrassed at the fact that we wasted her time coming across as serious buyers. When time came to put up or shut up, nothing was put up. And I knew nothing. I had nothing to add to add to this, because we're talking about a $650,000 house, and I don't make that. I don't make anywhere near that. So it just became one of those situations where I was trying to save face. I was trying to save face with my husband, and I was trying to save face with Amber. And so I did say to him, let's just rent for another year, and then let's see at that time where we are, if we should go ahead and buy.
I feel bad for her. I feel bad. She's kind of like reaping the consequences of like all of his craziness, right? She's having to, talk to these people because he's just lying, and he's creating these situations for her, and she's having to clean up his messes. You kind of feel bad for her, and like she, and I understand like 100%. She doing all of this, recall and telling the story. She understands she put herself in that. So like she put herself in that situation. It is her fault that she took this relationship so quickly. But like at the same time, she thought that she was with the one, right? She thought that she had found her person, the man that she was going to spend the rest of her life with. So she was putting up with all of this stuff. But man, like looking back at it, knowing what type of person the man is that she married, it's like, wow. Oh, dude. Okay. For those of you who were here yesterday, I know that you guys did not want me to tell you what his job was, what Legion's job is. Because remember, he has a company car. He's vice president of the condiment company. Do you want me to tell you? You want me to spoil what his job is, or you want to just find out later? She had the worst case of having love blinders. She really did have those love blinders on. You want to know what his job is? No, wait till the end. Yes, please. I want to know. No spoilers later. Okay, I won't spoil it then. All right.
So now is when shit is about to get real. Part 25, who the fuck did I marry? So we weren't looking at houses anymore. We were not working with a realtor anymore. The end of April, I had decided that I wanted to look for another job. I did. The reason I wanted to look for another job is petty. Yeah, it is. I wanted to look for another job because I was pissed off at the fact that I had basically was dependent on him to help with the car note. So I wanted to look for another job where I could afford life all by myself, including that car note, basically where I would make more money.
There you go.
I told him that I was going to start looking for another job. He laughed. And his exact words were, "You're not going to leave Georgia State Patrol." He was like, "I swear you love them niggas more than you love me."
Ooh. Eek. That's bad. That's so totally devaluing, right? It's just devaluing your partner and not being supportive. But that's something that like people like him, like that type of person would do. They don't support you. They just want to devalue you. They want to put you down so you like lose that self-confidence in yourself, and you start doubting yourself whether or not you want to like is this a good idea or not? Or maybe I can't get it, so I shouldn't even try. It just that plants that seed of self-doubt. Thankfully, though, she goes on to say
He left. So that fueled me even more.
it fueled
So
her.
I was hitting the pavement hard trying to find another job. I was applying to all kinds of places. Got a phone call.
Yeah, because like with a reply like that, especially but from someone that you love, dude, that can go two ways. It'll either fuel you like it did for Risa Tisa, okay, or it'll just like, oh, okay, well, never mind. I won't even try then. If you don't believe in me, how am I supposed to get strangers to believe in me, right? So I'm glad that it fueled her as opposed to just like not fueling her.
From my current job. So this is how I ended up in my current job. Got a phone call. They had sent me an email with a background packet. The background packet was long and extensive, but in the background packet, it asked for my spouse's full name, my spouse's date of birth, and my spouse's social security number. So I showed it to Legion and I was like, I need your social because, I'm applying for this job. It's a great job. It's way more money. And, we're talking about moving anyway to Cobb County. So this, this is a God thing. He did not want to give me his social. I showed him the paperwork where I was like, look, because we are married, I can't lie on here. So help me. So he writes down his social security number on the background packet. And I eventually turned it in. I scanned it, saved it in my email, and sent it in. And I looked at it one day, just going through it, just making sure I didn't really miss anything. All T's were crossed, all I's were dotted. And I looked at his social, and something about the social seemed different.
Oh, he gave her the wrong social security number. He lied about his social. I mean, come on.
Then the social security number that I remember seeing when we did our marriage license. And so for those who you remember in the previous part, I said I had ran his social security number from the marriage license. Nothing came back. So I thought that I had written it down wrong. Basically, what it is that the first three numbers were different on the background packet than what was on the marriage license.
Why would they need her husband's social? I think she had like a government job. I can't remember. Like, she doesn't really say what her job is, but I think she had like a government job, and a lot of times with government workers, they need to do background checks on you and your family. So I'm pretty sure that it was like I think that's what that's what she had. I think that's why they needed her husband's social. I'm pretty sure that that's what it was. They needed to run background checks on you and your partner. And that's pretty common, I'm pretty sure.
If you don't know this, here's a little trivia. Your social security number, the first three numbers, pretty much are dictated by the state you were born in and the state that issued your birth certificate. So he was born in Pennsylvania. So the first three numbers of his social security number should be attributed to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, shit, they probably got like 5, 6 different numbers, 3-digit numbers that your social security number can start with. So the social that was on the marriage license, for example, was probably 1, 2, 3. What was on the background was 4, 5, 6. Both of those social security 3-digit prefixes are issued through the state of Pennsylvania. Again, this is an example so I can make it clear. So when I saw his social on my background, I immediately knew that was a different social than what I saw on the marriage license. And when I compared, because I had found a copy of the marriage license that we turned in because I had filled it out on the computer. So sure enough, the first 3 numbers were different. The rest of them.
Why would he lie? Like, why would he lie about his social? What the heck? Does he, you know what? I wonder if he, honestly, here's what I wonder. I wonder if he did not want to give her his social or gave her the wrong one to sabotage her new job. To sabotage her new job. I wonder if that's why he did it. Right? I wonder if that's why he did it. Because he did it. He laughed when she wanted to get this new job. And now they need to do background check. And so he gave her the wrong social to sabotage her getting this new job. I wouldn't put it past him, right? I mean, look at all the shit he's put her through already.
The numbers were the same. So one of two things. Either when I ran his background, I did in fact put in the wrong number, or the number on the marriage certificate or the background packet is wrong. So I decided that I was going to roll the dice and take the social from the background packet. Again, this is the background packet that I had to fill out to get my current job. I was trying to get a new job. Okay, so I took that social and I ran a background check on it. What came back on this particular background was all the addresses of the social security number.
How many wives? That's a question, isn't it? He told her he's been married once before. That's a question, isn't it? The fact that this woman made an entire novella out of her marriage is insane. Dude, I want this novella, okay? I want them to pick it up and make it. All right? I want to watch this. I want to watch this, okay? I want to watch this.
I guess, have been attached to. So all of the addresses, the states were Georgia, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania.
So the plot thickens. Interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. Secret family. Ooh. Ooh.
What I did not see was California. So I thought that was weird. I thought, okay, maybe this is not a complete background because clearly he went to San Diego State. It's on his resume. It's on quite a few things. Social media. He didn't have a LinkedIn, but it was on his social media. So clearly he had been to California. So maybe I just needed to do a different background check. Also to note, during this time, I think I told you guys he had hit his leg at work. So what was happening was it was getting more and more difficult for him to walk, like put pressure on that knee. He was still able to go to work. He was still leaving at 6:15 in the morning. He was still coming back between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. But I clearly could see where he was in pain. He would elevate the knee, ice the knee. It was getting worse. And I was constantly like, go to the doctor. Let me take you to urgent care so that they can look at this knee, because you shouldn't still be limping and having a hard time putting weight on that knee. And every single time he was like, oh, it's fine. I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday. The doctor just told me to ice it and to elevate it. This is an old football injury. It happens all the time. It used to happen a lot when I was out in California. So I'm mentioning this knee issue for a reason. But back to the background. So once again, when I ran the background the second time with the second social, it showed me states of Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. And that's all that I saw in terms of addresses. I didn't see anything for California. So by this point, we're moving into May of 2021. Things are starting to reopen.
Ooh, Crash said that for $2, the second social was actually the correct one. So the one that he gave her before when they got married was the wrong one then? Because I thought like she used the second one. Or no. She used the original one that he gave her for the marriage certificate that she ran like the first background check on. Like she used that one for her work. That was the first one. Oh, that's right. She didn't get any results on the first one. You're right. Ooh, okay. But why did she like look sketch? Like, oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you for the 2.
One of the things that reopened was San Diego State. So I called San Diego State. I called the registrar's office. Someone did answer, and there was instructions on how to request a transcript. I was able to try to request it online. You needed the student's name, and I believe you also need their social. And when I typed it in, it said no results found. I believe that I sent an email asking, this person is saying that they were a student there. Can you verify it? The response I got was there were no records found with that social security number.
Oh, it's giving sketch. Oh man, he didn't go to San Diego State. He didn't play football.
So I'm like, okay.
This is the start of her digging up all of his past, of really now looking into this man that she married.
Asked him about it. And in part 26, I'll tell you exactly what his response was. Part 26, who the fuck did I marry? So I asked Legion, what's the deal about San Diego State? He's like, what are you talking about? And I said, why is there no records of you there? Just came right out and said it. Without missing a beat, this man said, well, I was a private citizen. What the fuck does that mean? And what he said is that when he started at San Diego State, his father paid money so that, okay, it's important to say this with a straight face. His father paid money so that his name and social would not be publicized and he would be considered a private citizen. He said that he had a card where all he had to do was show the card. He does not have to give his name. He does not have to give any information because he had that card. He said so San Diego State would not have any record of him, but he wasn't.
He's a private citizen, everyone. Okay. They kept his identity hidden because he's that important. He's a private citizen. What the hell is that even? What is that? What is a private citizen? Like, what even is that? I want to keep your identity hidden. You're that important. What? That makes no sense. Like, we're going to keep you off the rosters of the football games that you're actively participating in, right? All of your information is completely private and hidden from everyone that lives here because you're a private citizen.
In fact, a student there. I said, and you claim that you played football. He's like, I did play football. I said, so you're saying that the school did not publish your name anywhere and they were in violation of NCAA rules? And he was like, why are you asking all these questions? And I said, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. You're saying that you were a private citizen, but yet how were you in compliance with NCAA if you were a private citizen and they did not publish your name on any roster?
Damn. She's like, how are you? Give me the answers. What are you talking about?
So that was his excuse. He was like, all I can tell you is that I was a private citizen. My dad paid for it. Okay. So now I know that San Diego State.
My dad paid for my privacy. Okay. Nobody can find out anything about me. You look, they're going to tell you that there's no record of me there because he kept me off the books. He kept me off the books. I'm a private citizen. Okay. Everything about me is protected. I'm a private citizen. That makes no sense.
State has no record of him. Now I know that his social security number, at least the one that's on my background packet, only shows that he lived in Georgia, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania. Okay. So at this point, the pain in his knee is getting worse. It's getting to the point where when he would come home from work, he would take a shower and immediately get in bed, elevate his knee. He was not even eating the way that he used to eat. It was getting to the point where at times, if you remember when I told you all about the miscarriage, they gave me pain meds because I had taken that pill, but the pain meds I was allergic to, so I couldn't take them, but I still had them. So the pain in his knee was getting to the point where he would take one of those pain meds just to get through the night. He was constantly in agony, constantly kind of tossing and turning, so much so that in May, he moved into the guest bedroom because I couldn't deal with the tossing and turning thing. And he just said he was more comfortable there. So
okay, this is actually true, right? He is actually in pain, but we don't know, like, he tells all of these different stories on how he hurt his knee. I think that he hurt his knee at his job. That's what I think. I think he hurt his knee at his job, but he couldn't tell her, like, the real reason how he hurt his knee at his job, because then that would expose that, like, his job at his work, his actual job at work, and that would, like, just ruin the whole, like, fantasy of, oh, I'm VP at the condiment company and I drive this BMW. Like, that's what I think. That's what I think. I think he actually did, because she doesn't know. Nobody knows how he hurt his leg. But it does, like, he is in a lot of pain. So that's actually true. He is in a lot of pain with his leg. We just don't know how he hurt his leg. What's up, Yellow Flash? Hi. What is going on? Oh, look, we got a conversation. Hypnotic wants Yellow Flash on Hypnocast. I was on Hypnocast. That's true. I was on Hypnocast. Yeah. What's up, Yellow Flash? Hypnocast is every day, Monday through Friday. I don't remember the time. H can put it in the chat. Monday through Friday is Hypnocast. What? Big peepee. I don't want to refer to him as big peepee. Let's keep going. We gotta keep going.
What at first was I hit my knee at work, turned into, no, it was an old football injury. This has happened before. Turned into, it's painful for me to walk on it. Turned into, it's actually hard for me to work on it. But he was still going to work at 6:15 every morning and coming home between 3:30 and 4. So it is, again, I'm just giving you guys the chronological order of how all this happened. So at this point, we're not looking for a house.
No house.
I still have not seen the 2 savings account. I'm pretty sure there's no money in those savings accounts. But again, he was going to put in an all cash offer with Amber, the realtor. So I really didn't know what to believe, but I believed what I saw, which is I saw that background is not showing where he went to California. So at one point in May, it was close to mid-May, he calls me from work. He calls me from work, calls me while I'm at work, and tells me that he got a phone call from his stepson. The phone call from his stepson, the stepson was crying and was just absolutely distraught. And I'm at work in my office like, what's going on? And he says to me that the stepson informed him that his stepdaughter passed away.
This is probably the most grotesque lie that this man told. Because remember, he was previously married. Okay, if you weren't here yesterday, just catching up right now. Okay, she told him or her, sorry, what is it? Legion told Risa Tisa, right, that he was previously married in California and he has 2 stepkids, a daughter and a son that he is extremely close to, that he talks to every day. He's on the phone with them, helping them with their homework. They're extremely close. He's very close with his ex-wife. They're close for the kids, and they have a really, really good relationship, okay? That is her understanding of his previous relationship as it stands right now. That is her understanding of it. So now he's calling her and letting her know that his stepson called him distraught because his sister died. He has now lost a child.
That she died from COVID. The stepson, this is the story. The stepson found her in her apartment because they had not heard from her for a couple of days. And she was unresponsive. He called the ambulance. They pronounced her dead when she got to the hospital. So he was calling to tell me that she had died. And he was also calling to ask me if I would object to him giving his ex-wife $2,000 towards the funeral. As I've stated before, and I still am this way to this day. I don't play about death. So when he told me that she died, I immediately went into the, all right, I'm sorry to hear that. Whatever we can do to help, let's help. Because surely nobody would make that up.
Honestly, I would be like, I mean, I wouldn't be this way, but in the back of my mind, I would think, you have, what, $700,000 to make an all-cash offer on a house? Why are you asking me to give this lady $2,000? That's, Diablo 4, buy me the game. I'll play any game you buy me, honestly. Like that is my one rule. If someone buys me a game, I will play that game. That is my rule with games. That's why I played the scary games, because they bought them for me. So, yeah. All right. Let's keep going. Ugh.
So he was like, are you okay with that? He was like, we're married. And the agreement was that anything over $500 would be a discussion. So 2,000, definitely. And I said, yeah, that's totally fine.
I wonder, this is what I wonder, because they never combined bank accounts, right? And I think that he wanted to combine bank accounts because he needed money. He needed money for whatever, whether it be for more prostitutes or whatever. He needed money. And this was another way for him to get money. All right, to get money from her. He came up with this thing, this lie, this crazy ruse to get her to give him $2,000. Because that money went to no place. There was no funeral, right? That was a complete fabricated story that he told her. I think that he just wanted money.
I'm fine with that. He was upset because, again, he was close with the kids. And my heart went out to his ex-wife. It did, because I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine. So,
and this is after, again, oh my God. And this is after she went through a miscarriage too. You know, like, granted, I will give you this, that her gynecologist told her that, the pregnancy was not viable, but she still had to go through like a procedure to remove, the stuff from her body, right? So she had him. He knows this. He had to pick her up from the hospital. Like, she went through a miscarriage. So he is telling her that someone else lost a child. Oh my goodness. Oh.
27. Who the fuck did I marry? So here's where we are at, and here's what we can establish. Number one, I ran an initial background check on the Social Security number that was on our marriage license. Nothing came back. I subsequently applied for another job. In that job, I had to fill out a background packet. The background packet asked for my spouse's name, date of birth, and his Social Security number. The Social Security number on the background packet for the new job did not match the Social Security number that he gave me for our marriage license. If you are confused, I believe it's in part 25 or part 26 that I explain that. So we can establish that I then ran a background check on the new Social Security number that was on my background packet. It came back with states that the Social Security number apparently had lived in. Those states were Georgia, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. Okay. I decided, this is now around May 20th, I decided to do another background check. And I paid to do another background check. This time, I did it with a different company. And not only did it give me the addresses, not only did it give me the states, it gave me addresses, and it also gave me names of people who were like associated with Legion and that address.
Ooh, she finding people now. She's like, I'm finding people. I'm digging. She's digging. Dig, girl. Dig into his background.
One of those names was his ex-wife. I've always known, he's always told me the name of the ex-wife, but now I see it when I ran his background. I did a search for her on social media. She was not there. So the address that it showed that she was associated with him, because remember, his story is we got married in San Diego, we lived in San Diego, we divorced in San Diego. Men lie, women lie. The U.S. federal government, which your social security number does not. So he's saying he was always in California. His social security number never showed that he was in California, according to the background check. It did show that he had lived in Georgia at an address associated with the ex-wife. So try to find the ex-wife, could not find her on social media. So I looked in the metro counties to protect her identity. This, I am going to not divulge a lot on this part. I looked in the metro counties in the open record courts. So typically, you can look in like Superior Court or Magistrate Court or Probate Court. So I looked in open records for the different counties, metro Atlanta counties. Let me be clear,
Yeah,
metro Atlanta counties.
She's a detective.
And I looked under her name, right? And I found where they had filed for divorce in a metro Atlanta county. So when he said that he filed for divorce in San Diego and that he was married in San Diego, I was able to find, no, according to the state of Georgia, you were married here. You were divorced here. So I looked under her name, found a record for divorce, and it did show his name. So now I clearly see on my computer that there is a metro Atlanta County Court that has a divorce record in the state of Georgia between him and his ex-wife. So I did what any rational person would do, because this is still kind of COVID time. Well, not really. It had nothing to do with COVID. Let me take that back. Because of the parameters of the court, you can only do the open records request in person. I did what anybody would do. I told my boss I had to go. I grabbed my purse, grabbed my keys, and I drove to the court to do the open records request in person.
Oh, she is getting that information. Okay, she is full on Batman detective mode right now. She is getting to the bottom of every single thing that he has told her. Oh my God.
The open records request was for the divorce documents. Go back in the series, and remember, I did a background on the ex-wife. I told you all exactly what was told to me. He met her in California. He married her in California. He divorced her in California because she cheated on him. He filed for divorce. She tried to get spousal support. It was going to be a little ugly. He was helping her with the kids. That was the story that was told to me. So went to the court, filled out the paperwork, got the open records request for the divorce decree, for the divorce records. First thing I see, he didn't file. She did. Oh. Second thing I see, they didn't make it more than 6 months. Oh. I see the date of marriage. I see the date of dissolution, 6 months. Third thing I see, he was served in Metro Atlanta, which means that at the time of the divorce, he was living in Metro Atlanta. Oh. California was never mentioned.
His story is falling apart. I think he told her that like they were married for 2 years or something like that. Oh, his story is falling apart. Her eyes are open. They're open. She is getting to the bottom of every single thing right now.
Fourth thing I see, he filed what is called a pauper affidavit. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to do my best to explain it real quick. Basically, he filed an affidavit with the court saying that he is so poor, he could not afford the fees to pay for a divorce. He couldn't afford.
Oh, he is poor. He is poor. A pauper act. Everything is coming. Her eyes are open. He didn't have $700,000 put down on a house, all cash offer. He can't even pay for his divorce.
Or the filing fee. He couldn't afford a service fee. That is what a pauper affidavit is for. All of this is in the divorce documents. She had filed. She said it was irreconcilable differences. She was not requesting any money whatsoever. And both of them had signed a pauper affidavit. He was served in Georgia at his previous employment. According to the divorce documents, he was served at like a grocery store. That is.
He worked at a grocery store. This man, VP of Condiment Company, he worked at a grocery store. Nothing wrong with working at a grocery store, okay? Nothing wrong with that. But this man is like, I'm a vice president. I drive a BMW as a company car. He worked at a grocery store. Dude, he also told her that this woman was after all of his money. Remember? All of my money that I made playing football, she was after all of it. He filed like a pauper thingy because he has no money. Dude, she didn't ask for any money. Married 6 months. She served him with divorce papers. Didn't ask for shit from him. It looks like she wanted to run. She was just like, I want to get away from this man. That's what it sounds like.
That's what was listed as his employer. And it had a date of when he was served. So I see all of this in one day. I also see where on the divorce documents, she listed her name, her address, and her phone number.
Oh, she has her phone number. Oh my God. Let's go.
So I did what any rational person would do.
I would
I
do
wrote
it
down a
too.
phone number. There was a 50-50 chance that the number was already disconnected. She could be like me. I'm one of those people. Honey, you can sneeze at a 27-degree angle. I will change my number so quick. You ain't even know what hit you. You can talk to me at 5 o'clock and at 5:05, my number has been changed. So she could have been like me and the number is not even active. Or she could be like some people I know who have kept their number since kindergarten. Either way, I wrote the number down. I left the court and I immediately went back to work. And the same friend who helped me when I had my miscarriage, I told her, I was like, I got this phone number. This is the ex-wife. She was like, girl, you better call. You better call and find out from her. Because I think she said to me, can't nobody tell you what is going on quite like the ex-wife. So
That is true. Yeah, that is true. I like she probably told her friend because she was just like, "Should I call or would it be, like, crazy of me to call?" Right? Like, "Would I be the crazy person calling or should I call?" She's probably, like, getting that reassurance from her friend, like, "No, that's the smart thing to do. You should call."
part 28 is a phone call that I had with the ex-wife.
We're getting into it.
Part 28 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? So I got the phone number, went back to work. My really good friend was like, you better call her. You can use my phone, but call her. So I called her. She answered. Let me use aliases. And the conversation went like this. May I please speak with Barbara? This is Barbara. Barbara, this is Shirley. Shirley who? This is Shirley Jones. I am the wife of Legion. Silence. Then she starts laughing. And she said to me, and I quote, if you were calling me, then I know it's bad. I chuckle. And I said to her, I'm not trying to bother you. I'm not trying to disrupt your life. I said, I'm literally coming to you on some woman to woman shit. I said, because you are probably the only person who can help. She listened. She was gracious. And she said, what is it that you need to know? Or what is it that you want to know? And I said, I understand that you and my husband talk and communicate. And she immediately said, what? No, we don't. And I said, okay. She said, one thing you need to know about Legion. She said, whatever he tells you, it is a lie. And she said, again, let's go back to part 1. I told you guys that when he introduced himself or when we met, we actually had matched on 2 different sites. And he was under 2 different names. One was like the actual birth name. The other one was a nickname variation of that name. That's the name I know him by. So for example, if his name was Matthew, he had a profile under Matthew and then he had a profile under Matt. I would have known him as Matt. So she said to me, she was like, I don't even know who Matt is. She was like, that's not even his name.
Wait. What? What the hell? She knows him as a completely different name. What the heck? I'm not married. No, I didn't get married. Not married. What the heck? And I'm also not Stig's ex-aunt. What the heck? Oh my god.
And so I knew what his actual government name, and she was like, no one calls him Matt. She was like, that must be his new personality. Or she was cracking a joke, but she was like, anything he tells you, you need to know is a lie. So
it's interesting that she says that must be his new personality because, all right, because she did an update 2 days ago, all right, and he was actually diagnosed with something as a child. So it's interesting that the ex-wife said that must be his new personality. Ooh.
Asked her, I said, what was your experience? I said, because I can tell you the story he told me. And she stopped me right there. She said, whatever he told you was a lie. She said, let me guess. He told you I cheated on him. Let me guess. He told you that I wanted money from him. And I said, yeah. And she said, yeah, that's a complete lie. So we had a conversation where she told me how they met. They didn't meet online or anything. I said, well, were you guys ever in California? She said, no. She was like, that man ain't never been past the East Coast. So I said, okay. So you guys have always been in Georgia? And she said, yeah. She's like, we got married in Georgia and we got divorced in Georgia. And that's when she asked me, how did you even get my number? She said, because I want nothing to do with him. So how did you get my number? I said, I'm gonna tell you the truth. It ain't gonna make me look good. I told her, I said, this is what happened. And this is what led to me doing research. And this is how I got your number. And she laughed. She was like, wow. She was like, normally I would be freaked out. She said, but under the circumstances, she was like, wow, okay. She said, yeah, if you're calling me, then it must have gotten pretty bad. She said, so what did he promise you? And
wow, she asked her that. What did he promise you? Damn. Right. Wow. So he must have pulled this same shit with his ex-wife. It's interesting that she's asking her that question. What did he promise you? Because remember, you at the start of the video or at the start of this series, he promised her marriage, kids, loyalty. I mean, they married. A large house for them to raise a family in, all of these cars that they test drove. Uh, what did he promise?
We talked for about 30, 35 minutes. She asked me in that phone call, she said, look, I want nothing to do with him. I have not spoken to him since our divorce was finalized. She says,
oh, that's right. A trip to London. I completely forgot about that. A trip to London. That's right. The itinerary. A trip to London. I completely forgot about that. Now, he said that him and his ex are very close. They talk on the phone. If you remember, he ain't talking to nobody. There's nobody on the line. He's talking to himself. He's talking to the kids. He ain't talking to nobody on the phone. He's talking to himself. Oh my gosh, this story is insane.
so I would just appreciate if you keep me out of whatever's going on with y'all. And I told her, I said, I give you my word. I will never tell him I spoke to you. I said, I give you my word. I said, this conversation is for me. It is not for me to use in any sort of legal litigation, nothing. This is for me. And I said, I don't plan to call you again. I don't plan to be a disruption in your life. I just needed to know, how bad is it?
Ooh.
And she paused and she said, it's bad. She said, I don't know what all y'all got going on. She said, but if it's anything like what it was for me, it's bad.
Oh, man.
So we talked a little bit more. She was very encouraging. She was like, girl, do not blame yourself. She said, I went through that and I blamed myself. She was like, this is not on us. This is on him. She was like, he is a master liar, a master manipulator. She said, I ignored the red flags. So she was like, do not feel as though this is on you. We talked about there's an ex-girlfriend that shares the same name as his aunt. She and I talked about her. She said the reason why they broke up, because the ex-girlfriend, I didn't know this, the ex-girlfriend had reached out to her about 6 months before he met me. And so the ex-girlfriend lived in Douglasville. On Legion's driver's license, he had a Georgia driver's license with a Douglasville address. What he told me was that it was the address that his sister, because remember I told you his sister Shantae lives in Douglasville. She's a nurse, married with 2 kids.
Shantae. Oh, that's right, Shantae. There's no Shantae. There's no Shantae. He doesn't have a sister named Shantae. There's no Shantae.
So he told me that the address on his license, it was his driver's license, was to Shantae's house. The ex-wife is telling me, no, that's the address for the ex-girlfriend. He had moved in with her and he created this whole narrative with her. She found out that he was lying and she kicked him out. And so I guess after she kicked him out, she then reached out to the ex-wife, kind of the way I did for confirmation. And so the ex-wife was just telling me, whatever that man has told you, it is a lie. She said, I got out before it got too bad. She said, because once I knew he was lying, I was out. She was like, because he's never going to change.
Wow.
And so again, conversation went on. And so finally we were getting ready to get off the phone. And before we got off the phone, I said to her,
so these women are just targets for him. They're just targets. So he can live off of them and mooch off of them. Ooh. So okay, he left the ex-wife, moved in with the girlfriend, and after the girlfriend kicked him out, that's when he found Risa Tisa. And remember, he moved into her house like, what, 2.5, 3 weeks after meeting her.
I said, if everything is a lie, I said, I have one question for you. And she said, sure. I said, how is your daughter?
Ooh.
I said, how is your daughter? Next part coming up. Part 29, who the fuck did I marry? So I asked her, how is your daughter? She said, my daughter's fine.
Oh.
And I said, okay. She said, what did he say about my daughter? And I will be honest with y'all, I didn't have the heart to tell her.
It's good that she didn't tell her. I feel like that, like, if you've been through this stuff, you're going through this conversation, right? As the ex-wife, you're having this conversation with the new wife. You're going through all that stuff. It's good that she didn't tell her, because I feel like this man is just putting all these women through all this crap, right? She doesn't need to be put through more, because I feel like that if she would have told her what he had said about her daughter dying and he needed $2,000, that probably would have wound her up, because it's having to do with her child. right? So that probably would have wound her up, and she would have gotten really upset, and so I'm glad she didn't tell her.
So what I said instead was, oh no, it was, with everything with COVID. I think you mentioned that she might have had COVID or was exposed to it. I downplayed it bad. I wasn't gonna tell that woman that he said her daughter passed away. So I said, obviously I'm glad to hear that kids are fine. She said, look, whether you stay with him or not, it's your choice. She said, he ain't gonna change. He ain't gonna change at all. She said, this is what he does. She said, you're not the first. You're not gonna be the last. She said he did it to me. She was very, very encouraging because she was just like, you do not blame yourself. She said, we both ignored red flags, but it is not your fault. She said, this is on him. Ooh. And so we, once again, I thanked her for her time, got off the phone. I took the long way home that night. I could not be around him. I could not be around him. I had to figure something out. I had to figure some things out. So I took.
She has to get her exit plan ready. She needs an exit plan, right? A secret exit plan.
The long way home. What does that mean? It means that I probably could have taken 75 to 285, but I probably took 20 to 75 to 285 to 675, kind of like I just took the long way home. A couple of days later, because my mind was spinning. A couple of days later, at this point, I'm turning into the FBI, CIA, and Homeland Security all in one. Literally, I'm trying to find everything.
She's Batman detective mode right now. She's like, I want to know every single thing about this man that I let into my home, into my life, who I married.
And he's carrying on his business as usual. Nothing changed with him. He had no idea that I had spoken to the ex-wife. He had no idea I had gone to the court and saw his divorce documents. He had no idea. So a couple of days later, I decided to look up his mother's obituary. Look up the mother's obituary. And down at the bottom where it talks about, she's preceded in death by, and it lists all the people, the family members that died before. And then it says, leaving behind to cherish her memory. It lists the husband, her husband, excuse me. Let me start over. It lists her husband, which is Legion's dad. It lists Legion's brother that lives in Philly and his wife, because again, this is she passed away in 2015. So it lists Legion, the brother in Philly, and his wife and daughter, her granddaughter. It lists Legion and his wife, I think it was like Latoya or something. It did not list the ex-wife I just spoke to. And it clearly said Legion, his wife, Latoya. Then it listed the brother in Nashville, his wife, Jane, or whatever.
Who is the new wife? Who is this other ex-wife? That is the first time she is figuring out that he has another ex-wife.
So I'm thinking to myself, there's two things I was thinking immediately. Number one, who is Latoya? Never heard that name before. So I was thinking, who is Latoya? And then number two, where are the two sisters? Shantae and Kim. Shantae lives in Douglasville, married with 2 kids. Kim lives in Augusta, and I believe he told me she worked at like Procter & Gamble. So why aren't they listed on here? Because apparently, go back to the video. I posted it on there. I gave y'all background on the family. He apparently was one of 5 through both parents, brother in Philly, older brother, younger brother in Nashville, an older sister in Douglasville, and a baby sister in Augusta. So why is it on his mother's obituary? There's only three children named. Where are the 2 sisters? Oh. So I'm even more like, what in the hell is going on?
Where are his 2 sisters that he just completely made up?
And then I started thinking to myself, why wouldn't they list Shantae? Like, they talk all the time, so I know that they're close because he talks to Shantae all the time.
Who are you talking to on the phone?
I really was confused. Again,
he's talking to no one. He's talking to no one on the phone. He has conversations with himself.
And keep in mind, I'm trying to give y'all insight into how I was thinking May of 2021, because I still didn't find out a lot of stuff at that time. I found out enough to figure out, okay, it's not a question of if he's lying. That was over. It's not a question of if he's lying. The question now is becoming, what else is he lying about?
How deep does the rabbit hole go?
So we had the phone call with the ex-wife. Now I see an obituary that apparently there's another wife. I know on our marriage certificate, it only states he had one previous marriage. I had 0, he had 1. So this is how I'm thinking in my head, which is, okay, what am I missing here? I know we've established that he's lying, but who the fuck is Latoya? Like, I'm really trying to understand who is Latoya. And again, he's hobbling around the house, limping, and I'm in our bedroom, in the bedroom. I could not get on Google fast enough to try to figure some stuff out. So, see the mom's obituary, study it, and at this point, I'm now trying to figure out, okay, what's the game plan? What is the game plan?
Yeah, what's my exit plan?
And that's where we are about to get into the next part. Okay,
all right, this is part 30. So this is the last part on this video. And if you want to keep going, then we'll get to part 20, or I'm sorry, 31 through 50, because this is a 50-part series. All right. It's a 50-part novella. But we have found out that not only does he have one ex-wife, but two ex-wives. Where are his sisters that he has conversations with all the time? He does not have this close relationship with his ex-wife and children. He never played football. He never lived in California. What else is he lying about? She's finding out everything right now. He had these fake combos every day. Every day. That's what blows my mind every day.
30 of who the fuck did I marry? So I'm going to use this as a clarification video. So we're going to use part 30 as a stop. Let's clarify some things. I've done that before on a previous set of videos. So I think it's just important to do that. So that way I can try to address some of the things that I have seen in the comments, both supportive and just downright mean. But let me clarify some stuff. Number one, it is important to remember that I am telling this entire story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced my pathologically lying ex-husband. I am going in chronological order of events. So what that means is that, ma'am, sir, whoever you are, if you were coming in at part 30, but you have not seen part 11, some stuff is not going to make sense. I know. It is a long playlist. And don't worry about watching the video as soon as it comes out, because everything I'm trying to do this responsibly of telling the story in the order of which things happen. So I say that to say, please, if you're able to, start at the introduction disclaimer video, start with part 1, and then just watch each video, because a lot of the questions people are having that I'm seeing in the comments, and I say this respectfully, is just because you did not go to the other videos and watch them in order. That's just the first thing I want to say. It is important that I get this story out, but that it's done, like I said, responsibly. To me, responsibly is being honest, even if it makes me look bad, but then also trying to be clear and not ramble all over the place. So many parts. And we're not even to the part of the divorce yet. We're almost there, but we're not there yet. Second, what was going on between Legion and I? They did not know. My family only knew we've met this guy. He's dating our daughter, our niece, our cousin, our granddaughter. He seems to be a really nice guy. He seems to really love her. From what he has told us, he's done well for himself. He played football, and he has worked at this company 6-7 years, and financially he is in a good place. From what we understand, he just moved here from California. That is what they knew. They did not know about the red flags I had. They did not know what was going on in my head. They did not know what was going on in my heart, because I did not want to look stupid. I'm fully aware that when I tell this story, I look stupid. I'm aware, and I made my peace with that. But at the time, I did not want to look stupid. So it was important to me to put on everything.
That's bad. That's actually really bad. But when you're dating somebody like that, who's like a master manipulator, a liar, a pathological liar, something like that, like you tend to look stupid. Like, looking back on the relationship, you look like an idiot, because you fell for a lot of stuff that they were telling you. You believed a lot of stuff they were telling you, right? So she didn't want to tell anybody because she looked stupid. She didn't want people to think that, like, I married bad, right? Like, she didn't want to look dumb. So yeah. But, like, looking back on it, she does look stupid. Like, people in her comments on TikTok are like, what? How could you, like, not think that something was wrong? But at the time she didn't.
Everything's great. We're really happy. We're looking for a house and everything's going well, knowing full well that behind scenes, I couldn't figure out why he wasn't showing proof of funds. They did not know. So I say that to say, I see the comments about how my aunt gave me horrible advice when I called her about the sexting on Facebook. And I want to clarify something. She did not tell me to stay with him. She did not tell me to leave him. That's not her place, and that's not what she would do. She simply was in shock that any of this had happened and did not know what to give me advice on. The one thing that she did say was, look, he's not your boyfriend, meaning it ain't as simple as, oh, we're just gonna break up, pack your shit and go, because you married him. Ma is the most ride or die chick I've ever met. You fuck with me, you fuck with her, and she is straight Jersey. So I love her for it, but I needed to.
Oh, okay. So her family didn't know what she was going through with Legion. So, like, people in her comments on TikTok were telling her, like, hey, your aunt gave you really bad advice. Like, they're telling you to go back to this man. That was, you shouldn't have listened to her. You should have, like, stood your ground and stay away and started the divorce proceedings early. But since her aunt didn't have, like, all of that context, because she wasn't telling her family anything, the TikTok comments were like, your aunt gave you, they're tearing apart the aunt because they think that the aunt gave her really bad advice. That's what she's talking about here.
It's not fair for me to know. Mom, meaning Legion. My mom will tell you that's who she is. So for her, it was like, I don't know what it is. She did tell me later on that That was my mom's response. So she did not know, she did not pick up or overhear something that was going on while she was on a charade. And so for her, it was like, bless his heart. That's
We're gonna
account.
skip through this.
So I just want to say that because supportive of me, always had my back, be married. And what if he isn't lying? And I saw the comments on this about into my life as regional manager. Okay, that is how he came into my life. Then eventually he got promoted to VP of production or operations, some VP of something. That was later on in the relationship. He showed me the paperwork where it was basically a memo from HR. Your new position title will be VP of production. We'll just say production. Your salary, I don't remember the exact amount because it was a very specific amount, but it was over $200,000. It listed some of the benefits that he would have. He would have an office. He would be getting an executive assistant. That's where we get David from. If you don't know who David is, please go back and watch the series in order. He would be getting an executive assistant. He would be getting use of the company helicopter. He would be getting a company car. That is where we're introduced to the fact that he was starting to shop for a company car that could not be more than $90,000. That's what he told me. I didn't see this in the memo, the amount of the car, but that's what he told me. So that's where you get the car shopping for the Range Rover, the Jaguar, the BMW. He even test drove a Mercedes GLE, I believe. So I'm just trying to, again, bring some clarity to this so that way we all can understand what's going on. And hopefully this just makes a lot more sense for everyone.
All right. That was part 30. Okay. She's just bringing clarity on part 30. Oh my God. All right. Hang on. We gotta do, let me remove this. That was part 30. We gotta go to, hang on. Let me find 31. 31. Where's my history? Because I already watched this. That's 1 through 30. Let me find 31. The rest of it. Where's it at? God, I watch way too many videos. Nope, that's not it. That's 1 through 30. Where's the other parts? Oh, here it is. 31 through. Hang on. Oop. All right. Let me share this. We're at 31 people. You bitch this in one sitting, didn't you? I didn't technically sit down, but I listened to it in one day. Yes. Yes, that is true. I listened to it in one day, in a single day, but I was doing stuff. All right? I wasn't just sitting listening. Here we go. How fast does this lady talk? She actually talks extremely slow. This is on this is over 1.5 speed because she talks really slow. Otherwise we would be here for 8 hours listening to this lady's story. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it is I have it like really fast right now.
Part 31, who the fuck did I marry? So I found his mother's obituary online. It then told me it listed his brother in Philly and his wife. It listed Legion, and then it said his wife. I took the name from the obituary and I did a Metro Atlanta court search with that name. I found a divorce record. I found a divorce record with Legion and the same woman's name that was in the obituary. In that divorce record, it looks like he's the one that filed for divorce. This would have been around 2016. This was after the mother's death. He filed for divorce. She was the respondent. I think that's the correct terminology. Both had a temporary protection order against each other. He had one against her. She had one against him. The divorce ended up getting granted, finalized. Then it looks like he went on his way. In the course of the search for her name, I discovered that at one point in time, the two of them had lived in Rhode Island. So that's the connection with Rhode Island, because for the longest time, I could not figure out who lived in Rhode Island. That's where that came from. The two of them, he and this woman, lived in Rhode Island.
Oh, that was that. So is she talking about the new one? Yeah, she's talking about the new one. Okay. I was trying to think back, wait, who is she talking about? So this new girl, this new one, all right.
Several years.
The one that she just found out about it because of the obituary. She found her. They were married and they have protection orders against each other. They filed. I bet he filed a protection order because she filed one on him. I bet that's what it is. Oh, you gonna do that? Okay, I'll do it right back to you. I bet that's what that is.
Prior, or a few years prior. I could not find the obituary for his dad. I searched and I searched. I could not find the obituary for his father. For whatever reason, I knew his grandmother's name. I just randomly decided to do a Google search of the grandmother's name. Initially, nothing came up because I was looking for the grandmother's name in Philly. Nothing came up. I looked for the grandmother's name down here in Georgia. Found a record, but it wasn't quite clear. What was clear was that she had died several years prior. So what I found was a different website where it was like a legacy.com type thing. So I believe legacy.com holds old obituaries. Did a search for her name, found a match. That is when I discovered that she actually had passed away in July of 2008. Read the caption or the obituary and verified that in fact it was his grandmother. Because at the bottom of it, again, obituaries tell you a lot. It names who she leaves to cherish her memory. So it lists all the different family members. It lists the brother in Philly. It lists Legion, no spouse, and then a brother in Nashville. Once again, it did not list the two sisters, Shantae and Kim.
No two sisters, because he ain't got no two sisters. He didn't have two sisters. And not only that, remember he told her that the grandma passed away in 2011 or 2020, 2021, something like that. She did it. He told her that the grandma passed away from COVID. She did it. She passed away in 2008.
So I'm even more like, okay, clearly something, is up when it comes to Shantae and Kim. But what I do know is that he has talked to them multiple times in front of me. So I'm not sure what I'm missing. Maybe some family feud happened. Honestly, I don't know. So that is how I discovered that.
Oh, that poor thing. Maybe some family feud happened. Oh, I feel so bad. She's really trying to be optimistic, right? She's finding out all of this information. She's finding out about that like he doesn't have a good relationship with the ex-wife. Like he doesn't talk to her kids. He now has another ex-wife that she's just now finding out about. She can't find the sisters, and she's like, maybe there's a family feud. She's really, really, really trying to be optimistic about this. Like, I really don't want to believe that he lied, right? About having two sisters. Oh, I feel so bad.
When he told me the grandmother died from COVID and he was crying, boohooing, and all that shit, she actually had died in July 2008. I found this out the same time that I found out about allegedly, and I say allegedly because I'll explain, allegedly the first wife, or at least what I think is the first wife. So while all this is going on, Legion is almost bedridden from what happened with his knee. And I need to take a moment to address this issue with the knee. Again, the story started, he hit his knee. Then it turned into it was an old football injury. And this has happened before. He's going to the doctor. The doctor's telling him to ice it and to elevate it. He eventually moves into the guest bedroom to be more comfortable. I'm going to make this statement. This is probably the only time I will make this statement. He was not lying about the injury that he had. I don't know where the injury came from, but what I do know was he was not lying in the fact that he was in pain. You could clearly see that he was in pain, and the pain was becoming debilitating. Please understand what I'm saying. The pain was debilitating enough to where he was taking my pain meds from when I had the miscarriage. And then also it was hard for him to walk. He was not eating. So this is what made me believe this, whatever was going on with the knee, there was more to it because he was not eating. When I met this man, he was a size 3X. Yeah. At this point in time in May, he's down to a 2X. He is not exercising. He's not doing anything mobile. He's simply not eating. So there definitely was something going on, something concerning. Honestly, I thought it might have been cancer. But he kept saying, no, it's not that. It's from a football injury. It's from a football injury. I said to him, the next time you have a doctor's appointment, I want to go. It was that bad. And he kept making excuses like, okay, fine, I'll make the appointment. I'll let you know what it is. Cool. I will take off work. I want to be at that doctor's appointment because whatever is going on with you is serious to the point where you are losing weight rapidly within a 2-week span. So
like when she was saying that he was losing weight rapidly, because he gets like, let me tell you, like throughout the rest of the video, he ends up getting like thinner and thinner and thinner. I honestly thought he had a tapeworm. It's like, does he have a tapeworm or something? Like, why is he getting so thin so quickly? Either tapeworm or cancer. I mean, but oh my God. Hey, he was with those prostitutes though. He was with those prostitutes. But no, this is actually correct. He's just too poor to buy food. Yeah, he's just too poor to buy food. What's up, Cappy? But yeah, he has this knee injury and we don't know what the hell this knee injury was. I suspect that he did hurt his knee on the job. But he had to make up stories on like how he hurt his knee for her, like because he's supposed to be vice president and he in fact is not vice president. He has a completely different job. But I think he did hurt his knee at work. He just had to lie about how he hurt his knee.
Now we can go ahead and enter into June. When we enter into June, I have read the divorce documents for not one wife, but two wives. I have called San Diego State, verified they have no record of him. He claims he was a private citizen. I don't believe that. They're saying there's no record of him. I have pulled his background. It is showing that you've lived in Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Georgia. When I look at the addresses, it is tied to at least two women, both of whom I'm showing divorce records on file that you had. I've also verified that your grandmother actually died in 2008 and not in 2020 from COVID. I know all of this as I'm going into June. His birthday is June 17th. So all I've been doing is just trying to figure out what is it I'm going to do. I spoke to the pastor and his wife. I believe it was actually the pastor I spoke to because I knew the pastor previously before he did our marriage counseling. And I told him what I found. Mind blown. Had no idea. He knew something was up. He knew that Legion was not really trying to make this marriage work. He had no idea all this was going on. So he asked me, are you wanting to stay or do you want to end the marriage? I said, oh, absolutely, I'm ending it. Oh, hell yeah, I'm ending it. I have to. I have to end it. I have no idea who that man is in my guest bedroom. Not to mention, on top of all of this, he had lied about the death of the ex-wife's daughter. Part 32.
Who does that?
Part 32. Who the fuck did I marry? All right. So we're now in June. By this point in June, I have been offered.
Hold on. So this part, for whatever reason, is really low, and I have it turned all the way up. So let me know, like if it's super. I have it turned all the way up. It's just it's just very low. All right, let's keep going.
The new job, accepted it, put in my 2-week notice at my previous job, and was going to be starting the new job later on in the month. So when he laughed where I told him I wanted to get a new job, that laughter fueled me to get a new job. So here's what happened at the beginning of June. At this point, he's completely bedridden. When I say completely bedridden, what I mean is, I'm trying to clarify this so it makes sense. From what I see, he is going to work, but he's calling out a lot more. Okay. So he had already left the condiment company and was working for Apple. So he's calling out quite a bit because the pain is pretty bad. So he's hardly eating at this point, hardly. For example, if I were to say, oh, I ordered a 10-piece wings, he's eating 2. And that's it. That's all I would see him eat. I was going to work and coming home. The house was in the exact same place that it was when I left. Nothing in the kitchen had been moved. Nothing in the refrigerator had been moved, which led me to believe that he had not left the bed from the time I left to go to work until the time I came home. At this point in time, he's drinking Powerades like it's water. I mean, I'm buying cases of Powerades. And that seemed to be the only thing that he was taking in. So if he was a 3X when I met him, he's probably at a 1X, maybe a 2X, depending on the clothes. He's lost a lot of weight because he's not eating. So that's the reason why I say he wasn't faking whatever was going on. I think the issue with his knee was a symptom. That was not some football injury. That was not, oh, I hit it at work. It wasn't that. Something else was going on. I had kept asking him to, let me know when you have a doctor's appointment. I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you. And he just kept saying the doctor, he's calling the doctor, and the doctor told him to just keep icing the knee. But I knew better. What was happening was I didn't care.
Oh shit! She's like, so there was something wrong. I just didn't care.
Sleep, and I get his phone. I ain't gonna lie. I got his phone. He had a work phone and he had a personal phone. It was the work phone that he had from the condiment company that apparently was never turned in. Follow me. It'll all come out. So he still had the work phone. It was deactivated. But he did not wipe the phone, if y'all know what I mean.
Oh, she grabbed his phone from the condiment company. We're about to find out some stuff right now.
I mean, take all the data off. He did not do that. So I look through the phone and I see this would have been text messages. Text messages between him and a woman named Peaches. I go back to the beginning of the text messages. This is on the work phone. This is the beginning of June of 2021. I go back to the text messages the beginning of the text messages between him and Peaches. Yes, that was her name, Peaches. I'm reading the thread because he's knocked out sleep. So I'm in the bathroom with the door locked, reading the thread. And what I can tell is that he met Peaches on PLF. If you don't know what PLF is, it is Plenty of Fish, a dating website. He met Peaches. I saw the messages in June, so he met Peaches around February.
So he's on not 1, not 2, but 3? Because he matched with this woman. He matched with Risa Tisa on Facebook dating or whatever. I guess Facebook has a dating thing. Facebook dating. Hinge. He matched with her. And now he's on Plenty of Fish. All right.
Met Peaches from PLF. And apparently Peaches was, they there's no nice way to say it. Apparently Peaches was a prostitute.
See,
So
prostitute.
the reason why I say that is because in the text messages, she's listing the prices. So he asked for,
Here we go. This is why he needed the $2,000 to pay the prostitutes.
a hand job. This is in the text messages. She told him it would be like $40. He asked how much would it be for oral. She said it would be 60. Because it was 60 and 80. One was the price with a condom, one was the price without one. So no
Ew.
messages after that. She sent a picture, he sent a picture. No messages after that. So in other words, these messages were not back to back every single day. There's breaks in between the messages. So like a message was in March, the next message is in April. Message in April, next message is like 2 weeks later.
Like,
so
yeah.
He's asking her the prices. Next message I see would have been from a few weeks prior to the date of this. So this was the beginning of June. The message is from sometime beginning of May, where he is thanking her and says to her, you know, thank you so much. That was really great. I hope I can see you again.
Yeah.
Then there's messages where she said, hey, basically she was at a new spot. She must have moved. So he said, okay, I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna come see you. He's asking her to confirm the address. He was like, is it the house with the brown trash can with a white car in the front? She says, yes. So I'm thinking he was actually in front of the house when he's texting these messages. Then again, he does whatever he does, and he sends her a message a few hours later saying, thank you. That was great. I'm reading all this.
Oh.
And I will tell you guys something that you may or may not understand. Some women may or may not understand it. The cheating didn't even faze me. Didn't even faze me. I didn't cry. I did not feel like, what did I do wrong? I was relieved. The reason why I was relieved is because up until this point, I kind of struggled a little bit on whether or not, God, you know, I know, Lord, you hate divorce, but I can't stay with a guy that lies. So when I saw the cheating stuff, I was like, oh shoot, thank you, Jesus. Okay. Because I know my Father in heaven's gonna forget the fact that I'm divorcing for infidelity. Go ahead. It's fine. Jesus.
She's like, thank you, Jesus. You came through. Jesus came through. Thank you, God. Thank you. I finally found evidence. Like, I don't feel bad about letting this man go. Thank you.
Will forgive me. So I was relieved, to be honest with you. Like, oh, okay, I got grounds now, bitch. That's how I felt. So saw the messages, forwarded the messages to my phone. Or excuse me, I had to take my phone because the phone was deactivated. So I kind of had to do a little ghetto, hold the phone up, take my phone, and take pictures of what I see on the phone, so that I would have proof on my phone. Then I put the phone back and continued on. Now in the next part is the day that he gets kicked out, and I will tell y'all what happened. Part 33, who the fuck did I marry? June 17th, 2021. So you guys have been on this ride. You now know exactly what information I did have. The morning of June 17th, which was his birthday, he was in the bed as usual, Powerade bottles all over the place because I wasn't in the mood to clean. And so I went in his room. He was awake. He was watching YouTube on his cell phone. He watched a lot of YouTube, watching these two guys that always were fixing Jeeps on YouTube. And if I saw them, I would know exactly who they are, but I can't remember their name. It's a popular show on YouTube. Anyway, so I go in there and I just calmly sit on the edge of the bed and I was like, can we talk? And he was like, yeah, what's up? I said to him, I said, Legion, obviously I called him his name, Legion. I said, I'm gonna ask you something. I just want you to be honest with me. So he starts, I can already see in his eyes, he's about to get defensive. And I was like, calm, because this is the tone I had. Calm. I said, you never went to San Diego State, did you?
She is confronting him now. She's confronting him with all of the evidence that she has found. Ooh. Let's go. She's confronting him. Really calm. Really calm. Calmly confronting. Calmly confronting. JM the Elite fan. God, wait, where did God got your back, girl? Yes, part 33. This is a 50-part series.
He rolls his eyes and he's like, I said, calm down. Watch your tone. I said, you never went to San Diego State. I said, you never lived in California, did you? And he said, of course I lived in California. He's like, I fucking showed you the house I had in California. He said, I told you about San Diego State. I was a private citizen. My dad paid for me to be a private citizen.
Private citizen.
And I said, okay. I said, I called San Diego State. And he looked at me. His eyes were like empty. Like he wasn't shocked. He wasn't like, oh my God. He was just more like, okay. I said, they have no record of you. I said, they have no record because you never went. You've never been to California. So at this point, I'm very calm. And I'm just stating, I said, you've never been to California. I said, I bet you've only lived in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. At this point, now there's a little emotion behind the eyes. Ooh. And I said, I don't think that this is going to work. And he said, what, the marriage? He was like, so what you saying? You don't want to be married to me anymore? And I said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. I said, we need to go our separate ways. We tried, but we need to go our separate ways. The way that I'm talking to you all is exactly how I was talking to him. And so he was like, that's not what marriage is. Marriage is, you have to fight for what you want. I said, I don't want this. And I don't want to fight for it. I said, I don't want you and I don't want this. And so he was like, I'm not giving up on the two of us. I said, you don't.
Oh my God. Yes, you have to remember this is on his birthday. It is his birthday. This is she's telling him this on his birthday. This is his birthday.
Have a choice. I said, I think that you should call your brother or your sister now. And I think that you need to pack a bag. And I think you need to get the fuck out of my house.
Ooh.
And he was like, I don't really have time for this. I don't feel well. I said, I don't care. You need to get out of my house. Again, the way I know y'all are going to be like, she's so dramatic. And in real, I am actually a very dramatic person. But the way that I'm talking to you guys on this video is exactly how I was talking to him in the beginning of how this started. So I said, you need to call your brother or call your sister because she's in Douglasville. And you need to go stay there. You need to get out of this house today. Basically what happened was at first he refused. He wasn't moving fast enough for me. And so he called his aunt, and his aunt was on speakerphone. Let me preface that. She was on speakerphone. And so she was like, what's going on? And he was like, my wife don't want me no more. She claimed that I'd be lying to her. I ain't never lied to her. When I heard this, what's the analogy I can give y'all? When I heard him say to his aunt, I ain't never lied to her before, something in me snapped.
Oh, she saw red. I never lied to her before. He built his home of lies, and now he's playing a victim. He lied to her. He was never truthful. He lied to her, cheated on all that stuff, right? And now he's like, my wife is leaving me. He's a victim.
The best analogy I can give you. Do y'all remember that movie Carrie when she was at the prom and everyone was laughing at her? The blood had fallen down on her, and there was a moment where her eyes just went wild, and you knew something was about to happen. You just didn't know what, but y'all had pushed her too far. When he said to his aunt, I ain't never lied to her, I snapped. The calmness left. The amount of rage that was in me. I could have fought every member of the Kansas City Chiefs and beat every last one of their asses. I could have fought every member on the Atlanta Falcons and beat every last one of their asses. I'm not a violent person, but I was there. That statement, I ain't never lied to her, took me there. I went off. I went off. I went off so bad that first of all, every part of me was shaking. I called my mom. My mom was on speakerphone, and she's in Arkansas. My mom's a praying woman. I was cussing like a sailor. My mom finally said, put him on the phone. So I gave him the phone, and I'm standing there, and I'm looking around the room. It's the scene that I remember is the Angela Bassett scene in Waiting to Exhale, when her eyes are darting around the room right before she grabs everything to put it in the car to set it on fire. I was more so looking at what weapons were in the room: the lamp, the TV, the dresser.
She's looking for weapons? Oh my God. The dresser? She's looking for weapons, and she's like, the dresser. What is she gonna do? Pick up the dresser and throw it? Oh my gosh.
I was looking, while she was talking to him, my eyes were darting around the room, because if he did not get his ass up and get his shit and get up out of my house, it was going to be bad. If I've never in my life been on TikTok and said, had it not been for the blood, y'all, I know this is gonna sound dramatic. I know this is gonna sound like, girl, you so funny. You don't understand. Had it not been for the Lord on my side, had it not been for the fact that I know I got a praying mother, I know I had a praying aunt, I know I've had a praying grandmother in heaven, because I'm telling you, I clearly saw what was getting ready to happen had he not gotten up, got his shit, and got out of my house. So I'm trying to calmly say this because I'm trying to calmly tell this story because the rage had taken over me. The pure, unadulterated rage that I felt when he said to his aunt, I never lied to her, after I had discovered only 2% of the lies at that point, just 2%. So it was enough for me to be like, you need to get your stuff and go. So my mother gets on the phone and she says to him, Legion, she called him by name. She said, I am not there to control my daughter. She said, in the name of Jesus, get your stuff and get out that house, because I think she might kill you. Get out of the house. She's on my phone. His aunt is on his phone. His aunt said, nephew, come home. Home for her was Philly. She said, I'll send you money. Come home. Leave that house right now. She said, because I think that woman is about to kill you. Let's go. Let's just go to part 34. Let's all just take a deep breath. Part 34. Who the fuck did I marry? So the aunt told him, I'll send you money. Come home. And I'm yelling in the background, by the way. I'm not standing there calmly. I'm yelling. I said, oh, he got money. Yeah, you got money. You got money in that offshore account, right? You got money in that Chase account. You got money to drive. So do what you got to do. I told him, and I'm not going to repeat some of the stuff I said because my mom might see this TikTok, but I did tell him, I was like, if you don't get out of this house, actually what I said was, you have two options. You either going to leave this house voluntarily or you're going to leave this house involuntarily. And he tried to get a little nook if you buck. He tried. And that's when because he was still on the bed, still laying in the bed. He was just like, you ain't gonna do shit. Like, don't talk to me like you done lost your fucking mind. Da, da, da. And I calmly got close to him. I got like this close. And I literally said, I will beat you like the bitch you are. I dare you to try me. I said, I will literally beat you like the male bitch you are. And so when I said that, his eyes were like, I said, I'm not even playing. Because at this point, I'm rocking like back and forth. Y'all, again, I'm not some hardened.
Oh, he doesn't want to leave. He's like refusing. Oh my God. He pushed her so far that that would freak me out if someone was right here. I will beat you. That would freak my shit out too. Oh my God. She just wants him out. She just wants him out.
Type chick, I'm not. I want the soft lifestyle, but I have been pushed to the point. So I'm rocking, I'm walking back, I'm pacing. So finally, his aunt was able to get through to him. I had called my mother, my aunt. I had called the pastor. I had called all these people because I didn't know that I was in a very dangerous place. Not because I'm scared of him. At this point, I was scared of me. I don't know if this has ever happened to someone where you know your own, you know yourself.
He broke
know
her.
that you got a line. I was over that line. So I had enough wherewithal to be like, okay, you're probably gonna go to jail today. You're probably gonna go to jail. You're probably gonna have that job in the morning. Like I was there. And again, this is not to sound bragging at all. This was a woman who I could not believe that even with the attempt of me trying to give him one last opportunity to tell me the truth, he still lied in my face. I was at my edge. So I yanked the covers back, and I told him, I was like, get up, get the fuck out of my house. Again, I'm saying it calmly on here. It was nothing calm in the house when this happened. So I'm throwing stuff up against the wall. I remember I looked at the lamp. He looked at me looking at the lamp, and I think something in him realized, okay, yeah, I'm in pain, but if I don't get up, she's going to do something with that lamp. So he does get up. He is still on the phone with the aunt because the aunt was pretty much like, keep me on the phone. She did not want him to hang up. He throws some stuff together. Again, keep in mind, he has all his stuff in the house. So he basically packed like 2 bags worth of clothes. And he's limping around, and I'm standing in the hallway watching him like a probation officer. So he's limping around, and I'm looking at the condition of the bedroom. This is when I noticed Legion had been semi-bedridden. Remember, I told y'all that because the knee and other stuff. I look at these bottles of Powerade because he had been drinking Powerade so much at this point. He was not getting up to go to the bathroom. He was drinking the Powerade and then using the empty bottles to pee in. So there was about 6 bottles around the bed. And I was like, what is this? Because again, I hadn't really been going in that room. I was busy being CIA, FBI, Homeland Security for the past 2 weeks. So I was like, what is this? He was like, I'm gonna throw it out. He grabbed the trash bag, put the bottles in there. And I said, what are in those bottles? I said, tell me. And I think I started like twitching. Like, tell me. That is not piss in those bottles. He was like, I couldn't make it to the bathroom. I was in too much pain. So at this point, I'm even more like, yeah, get the fuck out. Get out.
Oh my God.
Get out of the house. So I helped him while he was packing his bags.
Oh, that's right, because he's not even in there, but he's in the guest room. That's right.
I went back upstairs. He had his 2 bags. I grabbed the 2 bags. Yes, I did. I grabbed the 2 bags. I had opened up the garage. I had already popped the trunk for his car and threw the bags in the car. I did that because I was like, you getting out of this house. You getting out of this house today. You can't come back. You can't come back ever. So it took him about 2 hours from the time of I will beat you like the bitch you are for him to actually leave the house. Again, I'm calm telling y'all this story. It was not calm in the house. So he eventually puts on some sweatpants. Now I can really see how much weight he's lost. But he puts on some sweatpants. He puts on a shirt. He's limping down. He's like, you really gonna kick me out on my birthday? I just looked at him. Opened the door. He went through the garage, got into his car, called, his aunt was still on the phone. And she was like, I'm gonna send you some money. And that's the part I was like, clearly he has the money. Like, you ain't got to send the money. He doesn't even have to go to Philly. He can just go get a hotel. But I don't care what he does. He just got to leave his house. So
that's true. Like, why do you need money? Why do you need someone to send money? Don't you have your offshore accounts? Right? Aren't you gonna put an all cash offer on a house? Why do you need money? Why do you need your aunt to send you money? Huh? I thought you had a lot of money. You drive a BMW, don't you? Oh my, go stay at a fancy hotel with as much money as you claim to have. Oh my goodness.
He ends up getting in the car, driving off. My mom calls and she's just like, is he still there? I said, no. I had not told her what all he had lied about. Even in the midst of me being angry and me going off, I never told him that I spoke to the ex-wife. I never told him I knew he was lying about the stepdaughter, because then he would have asked how, what makes you say that? So I did keep my word. I never told him I spoke to her. So
That's
he
good.
eventually left. I text a friend of mine. I text my landlord. I said, I have an emergency. I need to know if it is okay to get the locks changed. Landlord was like, that's fine. My landlord was super cool. Shout out to Mr. Patel. I went to Home Depot, bought brand new locks. Text a friend of mine, asked him, when you get off work, can you please come by my house? I need the locks changed today. So he was like, oh, okay, what's going on? I said, I'll explain it later. So to give you a timeline of June 17th, when I asked him about San Diego State and I told him that I know you've never even been to California, that was about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. By the time he left the house, it was maybe going on noon, 1 o'clock. So this happened pretty quickly. Um, if you're wondering, why did you even ask him? I already knew that I wanted out. I knew that. But for some reason, a part of me was like, let's just see if he'll be honest just one last time. And he wasn't. And it sent me into a rage. And then he lied to his aunt saying, I ain't never lied to her. And that sent me over the
I
edge.
can see that.
So
Like,
by
let's
1
see if
o'clock, by
he'll
1:30, he was gone.
tell me the
By
truth. Like,
2:30,
he'll turn a
I
leaf,
had done
maybe
a pretty good
finally just
job
tell
of
me the
cleaning up
truth, Nah,
the bedroom.
I
He
can see
had
that.
thrown away the Powerade bottles. So I didn't have to touch those. I stripped the sheets. Anything that he touched in that bedroom, I stripped the sheets, threw them in the trash bag, threw them out in the trash can. And so most of this was adrenaline. Adrenaline was switch because I hate packing. I hate doing all that stuff. I went on Amazon. I ordered oversized large tote bags because I was packing up all his shit. Part 35. Who the fuck
Hi,
did I
Jamie,
marry?
Elite fan.
So I packed up all his stuff. Okay. The reason why I packed up all his stuff is because I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome. One room was the guest room. Obviously, there was a master bedroom, and then we had a TV room that he had made like his Philadelphia Eagles man cave. I was going to put everything that belonged to him, pack it up, and put it in the TV room because the plan should have been that he's going to come back and get all his stuff. Okay, so that's why I did it. And honestly, it just felt good to pack up his stuff and go through it freely because when he packed in a hurry, he left obviously really important things. He left all his Invicta watches. He left all his WWE championship belts. If you know anything about WWE championship belts, you know those things are expensive. He left all his Jordans. He left suits. He left Cole Haan.
Yeah. I bet all those watches are fake. I bet those Jordans are fake. And those belts are probably fake too. Like, ain't no way he would leave like valuables like that at the house, right? Those, considering the type of person he is, those would probably be like the first things that he grabs. Like, I'm not leaving my Jordans here, or my watches, or my belts. Like, he would have grabbed all of that stuff, even in the midst of her kicking him out like she did. He would have grabbed all that stuff. I bet it's all fake.
Shoes. He left all that because it was such a hurry for him to leave. So all that was still in my house. So around 2:30, I think I wasn't even at a place where I could start crying. I was just too angry, still shaking, packing everything up. One of the things that he left is a photo album with all the pictures of his mom and dad and his siblings growing up. Now, I had the thought of I was going to have a burn party and I was going to put it on Facebook Live. I was going to burn it with my friends and
Burn
drink
parties
and
are so
dance and play
cringe.
music. But it's his deceased parents. I do have a heart. So I put that somewhere special, meaning I put it up in the closet. He had told me that he was going to come back and get his stuff. And so I just did not, I didn't throw anything out unless it was like something I knew was trash. Other than that, I put everything up and kept it, in the TV room. So that's June 17th. Also on June 17th, I had already ordered his birthday cake. I had ordered the birthday cake like the end of May because it was like a special birthday cake. So I also had to go get the birthday cake from the bakery in East Point. And I took it to my family's house and we ate it. Yes, I had left the house, went to my family's house, filled them in, my aunt, my little cousin, and my grandfather, because my mom was in Arkansas. So I went over to their house, filled them in on what was going on. They could not believe it. Although my grandfather then told me, he said, he didn't look like he was a football player. He was like, I didn't want to say nothing, but he didn't look like he was a football player. Gotta love grandparents. So we ate his birthday cake. Went back home. The friend that I had called came, changed all the locks, I changed the security codes. Effectively, he would not have been able to get in that house. So that is what happened on June 17th. So now we can fast forward. He would text me and he would call me that he got to Philly. Apparently he left Georgia and immediately went to Philly. So he immediately went to Philly, and he did text me and said that he made it to Philly and he was staying at his aunt's house. I know that this is a short part. That's okay because what we're doing now is I went through how we met. I went through how we dated. I went through how we got married. Now I'm taking you all to June 17th. The week after June 17th, he's in Philly. He still would call me. He still would text me. The conversations we were having the week after June 17th, so this would be June 18th up to the 24th. The conversations we were having had to do with divorce. So who's going to file? And he was like, well, I don't want a divorce. I'm going to fight you on it. Are you? Really? Are you going to fight me on the divorce? I didn't know anything about filing for divorce. So, but I refused to stay in a place of ignorance. So I went online. There's a website that you can go to where you pay like a $200, $239 fee and you fill out basic information and you choose your state. You choose your state, and they will not process, but they will make all your documents. All you gotta do is print it out and take it to the court. And it is step-by-step directions. We didn't have any property with each other. We didn't have any kids with each other. So by the state of Georgia's standards, this should be an uncontested divorce. So the conversation that last week, the week of June 18th to the 24th, was about divorce. What stuff do you want to keep? Well, I'm gonna come and get all my stuff.
I think like from what I know, or what I've heard, uncontested divorces are like the easiest and quickest ones that you can have. So like that was probably the smart thing to do. Because if she wanted to like divorce him like super quick, although I don't know how long they were married. I thought that like if you're only married like under a year or something, you could get an annulment. I thought that was a thing. Oh, that was a thing. I thought if like the marriage was like less than a year, you can get it annulled for whatever reason. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
I just don't understand why you couldn't talk to me about it. So there's no room for talking because you've been lying to me since day one. But even still, keep in mind, as of June 17th, June 18th, June 19th, I did not know what I know now. So the lies were really only like.
Oh, they were only married 6 months. Okay, they were only so how come she didn't look at, oh my god, look at that pause. I didn't mean to do that. I I didn't mean to pause it there. But I thought, so if it's under a year, so couldn't couldn't they get, I would think that she could just get an annulment. Like, hold on. I need to stop. I would think that, like, she would be able, or she would qualify for an annulment, especially, like, if her partner, like, lied to her or something like that, I don't know. I would think that, like, I don't know, what qualifies for an annulment, I wonder? I wonder if she looked into that. But I thought it was, like, if it's less than a year or something like that, she could get an annulment. I don't know. I know. I know. I know it was me. I did listen to the podcast. I didn't watch it, I listened to it. Yeah, I did listen.
5% of the whole story. So June 24th or 25th is when I had printed my documents. And I'm laughing because at this point in time, I've read y'all's comments about how that man will print out stuff. I know. But I used the website, typed all my stuff in, got my documents, and then I went. I took a day off from the job because I was getting ready to transition into the new job. So I left work early, went to the courthouse, and filed for divorce. I filed, I paid. And then I already had the documents where he would have needed to sign so that it could then be entered into for a divorce settlement agreement. So going into part 36 or 35, I know there's so many parts. Going into the next part is where I can tell you guys what happened with him, because he drove to Philly and he was in Philly for about a week, maybe 3 to 4 days. Then I get a message on Facebook Messenger from a woman claiming to be his cousin. Lord Jesus. So the cousin tells me, actually, I can tell y'all. So the cousin tells me that he's there. He's telling the family that I kicked him out. He's telling the family that I kicked him out after he walked in on me having an affair, that I stole his money, and I then kicked him out. And the man I was having an affair with, he said, was a law enforcement officer who used his duty weapon to threaten him to get out the house. This is what he told his family. And
oh my god. Of course. Of course. He has to be the victim and everything, right? Didn't he tell her? Didn't he tell her that happened to him like in his last marriage too? Oh, I caught my wife cheating on me, and that's why we ended up getting divorced, because she cheated on me and threatened me and we had to get a divorce. Isn't that what he told her about his last marriage? Wow. Holy crap. Of course. Of course. Let me just it's bad enough that, I put you through all of this shit, right? Let me just humiliate you a little bit further and make you look terrible in my family's eyes. God.
And the cousin was reaching out to me. She found me through a search on Facebook and was reaching out to me because she's like, we know he lies. So I'm just trying to figure out is this true? Because he's up here asking us for money, asking to stay on our couches. Like, what's going on? Then she explained to me, we didn't even know he got married. So this is the first time we're hearing about you.
Oh my god.
What do you mean you didn't know he got married? He talks to his brother every day. She said, who told you that? I said, I've heard.
Oh, I think this is oh, what's up, the lovely Sherry? How you doing? I think, oh my god. I think this is where we find out that he's just been talking to himself. I think this is where we find out he's just been talking to himself. They didn't even know he got married. They had no idea what was going on in this man's life.
Heard him talk to his brother every day. All his brothers. She said, all his brothers. How many brothers do you think he has? I said, he has 4 brothers. I named them. She said, he has 2 brothers. She said, he has the twin and he has the older brother. I said, twin.
Twin! Twin! A twin! There's a twin!
Who is the twin? Welcome to the next part where we discover the real family tree.
Oh my god. I forgot about the twin. Dude, seriously. Seriously. He has a twin. He is a twin. All right? He has a twin. He is a twin. Dude, this, I'm telling you, when I was listening to this for the first time, my mind was just blown away. I was at the store, like I'm at the store and I'm listening to them, like I would like stop in my tracks. I would stop and I'd be like, oh my god. Like I'm talking to myself. I have my AirPods in my ears, my hair is like this, so you can't even see them. But I'm just like, oh my, I'm in the store listening to this story. God, this is seriously, I think this is why a lot of people are like, man, this really sounds fake. Like, this story sounds made up. There is no way this is true. Because of this reason. Because of this reason. It's like, dude, this is like a roller coaster that we're on. How could this be true? This is crazy. But it's true. Like, all of this is verified with multiple people. Oh, it is insane.
Part 36, who the fuck did I marry? The family tree. Please fasten your seatbelts and put the tray tables in the upright position. Let's go. All right. The cousin, I'm not going to name her. The cousin had reached out to me on Facebook, asked me to please give her a call. So this conversation was on the phone. Yes, I was actually speaking to her. She informs me again about the whole, he's up there. He's telling everyone that he walked in on me cheating on him. It was with a law enforcement officer, and that the law enforcement officer used his duty weapon to threaten him to get him out of the house. The reason why I'm particularly mentioning the fact that he said it was law enforcement is because he was trying to get a family member, like one of his cousins, to call the agency of the law enforcement officer and file a complaint, which in hopes would then start an internal affairs investigation.
Who would he be investigating? What the heck? This is a law enforcement officer, doesn't exist. So who would he be investigating? Like, who is he filing a report on? We need to file a report, internal investigations, internal affairs. They need to file a report on this man. Who? This man don't exist.
Yeah. So, female cousin's on the phone with me. She's telling me everything that he is telling them. She's like, look, we know he's a liar. We don't fuck with him. He's been a liar since a kid, but he's also family. She said, we didn't know at all who you are. So I thought that was interesting because I was like, you didn't know who I was, but his brother knew who I was. And so again, that's when I said to her that I was like, he's talked to his brother every day. So like, why wouldn't the brother tell y'all that he had gotten married? And so she said, what brother? And so I told her the brother's name. And she said, he told you that? I said, he was having the phone calls in front of me. So at this point, what the cousin said was, she was like, okay, I'm gonna confirm that with him. She was like, he lives up the street. So I'm gonna just confirm that with him. She was like, because I'm pretty sure that they have been beefing for a while. I was like, I can only tell you what I saw, what I heard. That's all I can say. So then when she asked me about, well, how many brothers do you think he has? And I said, he has 4 brothers. Again, I listed all of them. This woman was like, he has 2 brothers. She said he has the twin, and he has the older brother, the one that he was on the phone with every morning, blah, 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 blah. I said, twin? Who's the twin? So this is where she explained to me. She said the parents, mom and dad, had the older brother. The older brother is about 5 or 6 years older than Legion. Legion and the younger brother, who lives in Nashville, they are twins.
Oh,
so when he kept
Legion's a twin. Oh my God.
saying the younger brother, my younger brother by 2 years, it's his older brother by 20 minutes. They are twins. I have seen a picture of this brother. Yes, they do very much look alike, but I didn't know they were twins. It doesn't even matter. I didn't know they were twins. But definitely they had the same mom and dad. So she was like, no, that he's older than Legion by 20 minutes. They're twins. She said, so the parents had 3 boys, brother in Philly, the older brother, and the twins. She was like, who the hell are these sisters that you're talking about? So I tell her, I was like, Shantae and Kim. She said, I don't know who Shantae is. She said, Kim is my daughter. Kim is not his sister. Kim is my daughter. And
dang, so Kim, okay, so there is no Shantae. Let's put that out there. Let's throw that out there. There is no Shantae. All right. Shantae does not exist, nor does her kids who work at, I don't know where he said they worked at, Procter and Gamble or some shit like that. They don't exist. And now the other sister is the aunt's daughter. The fuck?
She said that's his cousin. She was like, and they haven't spoken in about 20 years. So no, that's not his sister. He does not have any sisters. And I said, well, then what about the other two brothers? She was like, what other two brothers? I said, the brothers from his dad. She was like, you mean to tell me this man is going around telling people, I know somebody's gonna quote Nicki Minaj, lying on your dead mama, but try not to. She said, you mean to tell me this man is walking around lying on his dad, saying that his dad had kids outside of his mom?
Ooh.
And I kind of stuttered, like, yeah. She's like, he does not. She said, I have no idea who those two men are. She said, those are not his brothers. But if y'all remember, I met those two, and he introduced them as, man, this is my brother John, this is my brother Matt, type thing. And so they both were like, oh, my sister, it's good to meet you, it's good to meet you. Remember that, because obviously I do eventually talk to those two men again. So she says to me, the family tree is mom and dad, the three sons. She was like, there are no sisters. She said, I don't have a clue who Shantae is. She said, Kim is my daughter, so that's just their cousin. But again, they ain't spoken 20 years. I said, okay. And then there was a grandmother. She said, yeah, she named the grandmother. She was like, yeah, she died in like 2008. I said, yeah, he told me that she died in 2020. And that, all of you were coming down for the memorial service. And she's just like, she died in 2008. I said, then there was the uncle who also died from COVID. She was like, which uncle is that? I told her the name. She said, he's been dead since like, 2010.
Dude. Okay, so when the uncle died, remember, so the grandma died in 2008, right? And he put on this sob show. He was in mourning. He was crying, right? And then when his uncle died, right? When he told her that his uncle died, that's when he started becoming a stickler for COVID. Right? Remember that? Remember that part yesterday? He was like, you have to wash your hands, you have to do all this stuff. That's when he became like super stickler for COVID. But nah, he didn't die. What the fuck? He didn't die of COVID.
I said, okay, what about the cousin nicknamed Junebug? Everybody got a, if you're not African American, we all know a Junebug somewhere. And she just was like, oh yeah, cousin Junebug. She was like, man, that's crazy what happened to him. And I was like, what do you mean what happened to him? Because I know he has talked to his cousin Junebug on the phone like a few months prior. He was like, and so she said to me, she said, yeah, he had passed away in like 2016. So this is now 3 people that she's naming that I recall him having either a story about or a phone call with, and she's telling me that they are all passed away.
There's nobody on the phone. There's nobody on the phone. He's talking to himself. I don't understand that. Dude, I don't understand how she didn't notice. Honestly, I don't understand how she didn't notice that there's nobody on the other line. Because, like, even when I'm in the room with somebody, right? And they don't have the volume, like, turned up all the way on their phone. You can't really hear what they're saying. You can't make out what they're saying. You at least hear somebody on the other line. You at the very least, you hear someone on the line. I don't understand how she couldn't even like hear that there was nobody on the other line. He's talking to dead people. Yeah.
So this is when the conversation kind of changes, and she's like, you know what? She said, let me speak to the older brother, because he probably wants to talk to you. She's like, you probably should talk to him, and a lot of your questions will get answered. She was like, this dude's been lying ever since he was a kid. She was like, she said, literally, we don't fuck with him. I remember her saying that verbatim. She was so adamant. She was like, and when he showed up here out the blue, talking about how his wife cheated on him with a law enforcement officer, and how the guy took his gun out and threatened him to leave the house. She was like, we knew something was up. She was like, that's why I had to find out who you were and reach out to you and find out the truth. I said, there was no other guy. There was no law enforcement officer. And she was like, yeah, because he was telling us where the dude worked and how we should go ahead and help him file a complaint so that this dude could lose his job. I said, there is no other person. I said, I kicked him out. That was me, all by myself. No gun, just my fist. And so she said,
no gun, just my fist.
That he had got married, and then she was like, apparently y'all had a baby. So she was like, so you got a kid with him? So I had explained to her. I said, no. I said I had a miscarriage back in June of 2020, and I had to have surgery in July. So she was just like, girl. So she started like really being encouraging and was saying, you dodged a bullet, honey. She was like, I don't wish this. She's like, I know he my family, but I don't wish him on no woman.
Damn.
So we've had each other's number. She was like, if you need anything, please feel free to call me. She was like, I've had my own issues with him. I've had my own issues in life. But she was like, get your divorce and be done with him. Then she said, I'm going to put you in contact with the older brother. The next part is me finally talking to the older brother that he had been talking to every morning. Part 37, who the fuck did I marry? So at this point in time, I have filed for divorce. I paid for the filing fee. I'm representing myself pro se, and it should be an uncontested divorce. During this time, Legion had driven to Philly, lied to his family, and said I had cheated on him, that he caught me, and that the guy I cheated on him with was a law enforcement officer who used his gun to threaten him to get out of the house. None of that was true. At some point while he was in Philly, he ran out of options in terms of where he could stay. Family members did not want him to stay with them. Apparently, a lot of bridges were burned, according to the female cousin I had talked to on the phone. So he left Philly and went to Augusta. Yes, what you were hearing is correct. He drove from Georgia to Philly, stayed in Philly for about 3-4 days, left Philly, drove back to Georgia, went to Augusta. Keep in mind, if you
Augusta.
have lost your notes at this point, he was raised in Philly and did high school in Augusta before he went to California. So he has family in Augusta. So at this point, he's on his way to Augusta to stay with a new set of people. The reason why this is important is because what I have is a divorce settlement agreement. That divorce settlement agreement has to be signed by the two of us. Where we are basically telling the court, look, this is what he's keeping, this is what I'm keeping. I need his signature. Let me repeat that. I need his signature because I wanted a very quick and painless divorce.
I am not even lying when I say Legion knows this as well. So mental health units are available. He knows this as well. Ooh. Ah, Patriot for 10. Thank you. Something for your sanity. I appreciate that because yeah, this is driving me insane. Thank you.
Much as it could be. So by this time, this is now around June 25th. So around June 25th, he's now in Augusta. He had left the house June 17th. So between June 17th and June 24th is the trip to Philly, then leaving Philly, coming to Augusta. My aunt and my little cousin get in the car with me, and I drive to Augusta with a rag on my head, some sweatpants, and a tank top. It's July, so it's hot. But we ride to Augusta. I had spoken to him. I had said, I just need you to sign this piece of paper. And he was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. No. We're going to get to it as quickly as possible. So that means I got to drive to Augusta tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. I'm going to do that because I need that signature. I ain't telling this. This was my attitude. Sure enough, went ahead, drove down there. I met him at the UPS store in Augusta. It's in the same Kroger shopping center. They had a notary there because I needed the papers to be notarized. So he pulls up. It's only been a week since I last saw him. It has been months since my aunt saw him. Okay. She had no idea of the condition that he was in. Again, I'm telling y'all, when I met him, when he met my family, he was like a size 3X. In just a short span of time for a week, he easily could have been in an extra large, maybe even a large, but was wearing 3X clothes. So he has told me this whole time, he didn't know I had spoken to his family.
He's in baggy clothes.
Right, need to put that in there. He did not know I had spoken to his cousin. So he was telling me that he had a place to stay. He was staying with some family members, and everything was cool. He told me he was going back to Augusta because he had a job. That's what he told me. The family member, the cousin, told me, oh no, it's not that he had a job. We kicked his ass out because he's still lying, and we don't want anything to do with him. So when I saw him get out of the car, I immediately knew you probably have not washed in 3 days.
Oh, he's living in his car. He's living in his car.
His nails had not been cut, so his nails were a bit long. He smelled like the Chattahoochee dump on a hot summer Georgia day. He stunk so bad. And for a moment, I did not recognize the man that I was legally married to. I did not recognize him.
Hi, Tazra.
He almost looked, what's the word? Emaciated? If I may be mispronouncing
emaciated.
The way someone looks when they've lost so much weight, and it's almost like your skin.
Emaciated.
He obviously looked homeless. He smelled homeless. And my heart just kind of broke. It kind of did. I'll be honest, it kind of broke. It did not break enough for me to not get that signature though. So when he walked into the UPS store,
she's like, I felt really bad for him, but I was still getting business done. I'm still getting business done. She felt bad for him because she still has that humanity, right? She feels bad for him. Like how could you not?
You clearly can see that some of the people were like,
she has empathy.
Let me get away from him. Me, I just was like, okay, so I just need you to sign right here, and I just need you to sign right there. Okay. And then a woman named Lauren came over and notarized the papers. And then we were done because he signed a divorce agreement. He didn't even read it. The reason why I'm pointing that out is because he didn't read the part where what's left in the house now belongs to me. Where he took technically what he was going to take. Everything else in that home belongs to me. Remember, I told y'all he had left all his Invicta watches. He had left all his WWE championship belts, his Jordans, a lot of his clothes, his Cole Haans. He had left all that stuff. He never even read the divorce agreement. So he signed it. I signed it. Lauren notarized it. We leave the store, and I said, "Have you eaten?" And he was like, "Yeah, I ate. It's just my knee." So again, he's talking about the knee, but if you saw him, you would know there's way more to it than the knee. So I said to him, "Look, since you met me here, let me give you some money so you can get you some chicken nuggets."
She gave him money.
You can get you some chicken nuggets. So I believe I gave him like $5 or $6. Go get you some chicken. I think I Zelled it to him actually. Just go get you some food. Then because where he parked was not far. It was like, okay, I'm parked here. He's parked in front of me in the other row. So there's that aisle that you can drive down.
Damn. Like, imagine like this man put her through so much. She had to kick him out of her house. She's finding out all of this stuff in his background, right? She's finding out all of these things finally really, really having conversations with his family. And now she's meeting him. She looks at him. She's feeling terrible. She feels bad for him, bad enough that she gives him money to eat. That's wow. That's I don't know. She's that's some humanity right there. I don't know.
So I walked him to the car, and I saw the condition of the inside of the car, and that's when I knew he's been living in his car. He's been living in his car. So clearly, I no longer had a question of, so where's his offshore account? Where's the U.S. bank savings account? Where's the checking account?
She was still wondering if that was true. After all of that information that, like, she found out, you know, that he had to do, like, a pauper thing because he couldn't afford his last divorce, like, finding out that he's been lying since he was a kid, she was still wondering if he really did have an offshore account.
Didn't have that question anymore. Because if you had money, you wouldn't be living in your car. You would not be in the same clothes that you were in when you left my house on June 17th. And this is now June 25th. So he was like, I'm gonna be all right. I'm about to start a new job. I'm gonna be cool. I got a family member I can stay with. Everything's gonna be okay. All right. I said, I will let you know when the divorce is granted. I said, I will send you a copy of the divorce decree. And he was like, okay. He said, well, how long do you think that's gonna take? I said, I'm not sure. I thought I had to wait 30 days before I could file the divorce agreement settlement form. And then the judge would grant it in 30 days. So basically, this is like June 25th. I'm looking at the end of August that it would take for the divorce to be granted, assuming there were no hiccups, assuming he didn't decide he was gonna pull a fast one. So I told him, I was like, I'm gonna file this, and then once we get the divorce decree, I'll send you a copy. He said, okay. He got in his car. I got in my car. I drove all the way back home, and he went to wherever he went. Next part is the next series of lies that I was faced with. All right, part 38 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I'm going to call this housekeeping and missing pieces. So housekeeping. First and foremost, as much as I know you all have enjoyed this series, and some of you have told me how entertaining you have found it, the story will be done this weekend. So in other words, I don't care how many parts I got to film. It will be done this weekend. We're not going to drag it into the new week. So I just want to let everyone know that. So please be sure to tell your sisters, your mamas, your aunts. But I'll leave the playlist up, so don't worry. Also, let's see. I'm sorry for the people who are like, I keep talking really slow. I didn't know that I was, and they're like, you're just long-winded. I'm very detailed. So it won't just be some random shit. I will actually ignore my question, which means there's holes in her story. Y'all, we all know how TikTok is. So before that, it's important to me that I'm responsible in how I tell this story, meaning I'm clear.
I'm fast. She's just doing housekeeping. I don't want to hear all this.
And because I'm in company and then went out. I did not go into how my ex-husband Legion left the condiment company and then went to Apple. I also did not go into detail on when my mom came to visit. Both of those were in the month of April. I was going to go into detail a little bit more on the Apple situation because, as you probably have figured out, of course something came out later on. But nevertheless, in terms of April of 2021, my mom came for a visit, and just after but there was something in her spirit that just visit. I didn't know what my mother thought. As usual, which I did tell my mom, look, he's going to talk about himself and money a lot. So
yeah, we already got that
at the company. When he started complaining about those changes, it was things like, keep in mind, he is not VP of the company. He was VP of, I keep getting it wrong, but I think it was VP of production is what the memo says. So he was not the second in command for the company. He was upset that he was being blamed for production stats, that the production was down. He was upset that his plant manager apparently had resigned. He was upset that some of the policy changes that were coming into play that would affect his plant. These are the things that he was coming home and complaining about. Literally. He would complain. He started complaining Monday. By Friday, he said, you know what, if they continue doing this, then I just need to find another job. He was like, I think I'm gonna call my homeboy that I work with at Apple, and I'm gonna see, what they have available. Yes, there were red flags going up. Of course there were. At this point, we're not even dealing with United Nations of red flags. We are dealing with the Olympics. We are dealing with the parade of all nations. Everybody got a red flag. So when he said that, I was kind of like, okay, because I had become numb to all the antics that he did. I was numb to it. So he literally said, I think I'm gonna call my homeboy and I'm gonna see what's at Apple. My response to him was, well, what about your salary? Would you take a pay cut? He was like, no, I'm not gonna take a pay cut. Like, I wouldn't leave unless it's gonna be the same amount or more money. Y'all, the last week of April, I'm at work, minding my own business. He calls me and tells me, I've decided to resign. You what? I've decided to resign. Don't worry. Don't get all crazy.
I bet he got fired. I bet he got fired. I bet he didn't resign. I bet he got fired.
I talked to my homeboy. There is a position at Apple, and I'm on my way there now to go and meet him so that I can get some information on the position. We're married, y'all. We're married. So what I said to him was, well, will you get all this in writing? His words to me were, of course I'm gonna get it in writing. I'm not stupid. You know what? I don't even want to talk to you no more. Click. That's the end of April. So that is how I was introduced to this Apple job. Again, if you stick with the series, you will find out exactly what happened. But that's how I was introduced to the Apple job. It literally was in a span of within 2 weeks. And he resigned from the condiment company and immediately said, I'm going to move over to Apple. Just wanted to clarify that. So we will continue on. Part 39, who the fuck did I marry?
Oh my God, we're almost done.
Everything you're going to hear probably in this part and the next part, all of this happens in the month of July, 2021. Divorce has been filed. It was filed the end of June. I got his signature on the divorce settlement agreement. I thought that I had to wait 30 days before I could actually file that with the court. And so this is kind of in the limbo period because I'm still within those 30 days. So he left a book bag at the house, book bag that had all kind of paperwork in there.
We're about to find out what's in the book bag, y'all. Get ready. Oh.
Inside the book bag, this is the paperwork that I found. Number one, I found a packet from the condiment company.
Oh my God. I know. I am. But I'm like, okay, we're on part 39 though, right? It's only 11 parts more. I am on a time crunch, but I should be good. I should be good. We're gonna stop at here. Oh God. We're gonna stop at 40. I am on a, you're absolutely right, 100%. I am on a time crunch. We are going to stop at 40 today. All right. We're going to stop at 40 today. We can't do the whole thing. So we're gonna stop at 40. All right. Actually, maybe we should look. We're gonna stop right now. Okay, we're gonna stop right now. She's finding the book bag because I do need to go. I didn't realize. I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh my gosh, I do need to go. Okay, I will do another one of these tomorrow. All right, tomorrow we will continue on with this. All right, we'll continue on with this. I'll do another one of these. Oh, actually, maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Okay, if you're invested in this story, come back later on tonight and I'll go live. I'll go live again tonight, but I have to. Let's run this one out 2 times speed. I can't. Maybe we can do it tonight. All right, we can do it tonight. We'll finish it off tonight. I promise. We will finish it out tonight. I just need a few hours to get some stuff done, but we'll finish it tonight, probably around 9 o'clock. We'll finish it out tonight. I promise. But I do need to go. Okay. We'll finish it out tonight. I promise. We will start at part 39. I'm gonna leave it paused like this. Okay. I'm gonna leave it paused like that, and we will continue on tonight. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Mwah.